Hello and welcome to the Last Word on Spurs. We hope you're keeping very, very safe and well. Thank you so much for joining us. We are live on YouTube. We are here bringing you instant reaction to Tottenham Hotspur returning to the top table of the European elite. Tottenham Hotspur back in the Champions League, and we are back with three great returning guests. And what a show we are bringing you this evening. What a show we've got in store for you. And if you haven't been watching us before or listening to us, where the hell have you been? We've been on iTunes, we're on Spotify, we're on Audio Boom, because we're on different audio platforms. We're, of course, on Twitter at Last Word on Spurs. We're on Facebook and Instagram too. And by my wonderful guests, by our besotted audience, we are also live with you, as I mentioned, on YouTube, taking you through Tottenham Hotspur back in the Champions League. How good does that feel? And it only feels right at this moment to hand over to our co-host, to the man running, driving, instructing, you name it. He's been doing it, the crazy train, since I don't know how many years. But let's bring him in, the wonderful Lee McQueen, my co-host. Lee, how are you, mate, after what we've just watched?
It's only champions. Gonna be a so sick theme tonight, people. Absolutely buzzing. I mean, I put the Wanyama back on. I thought to myself, got to go with the Wanyama again. Boom. Wanyama's never let us down. Smashed that rocket against Liverpool years ago, and he's still churning out performances. So absolutely outstanding. I've got the blue book. I'm absolutely buzzing. We can whip it up if we want and just talk about what next season brings. I genuinely think this is massive. 4 years out from being at the top table, as you just said, Rick, and this is huge. Not only are we back at the top table, not only have we got one of the best managers, top three in the world, manage our football club, not only we're going to finally hear Kane, that new contract that I told everyone months and months ago that he's already signed is going to start being announced. Not only going to get all of that, we've also stopped Arsenal from getting to that top table. And that is another year of finishing above them. Absolutely buzzing. The comments are going mad. I think it's over 1,000 people watching us already. Yeah. Lot, you four, I love you all, mate. Absolutely superb. Come on, Spurs.
I tell you, if anyone's wondering, it is going to be one of those shows. And for Lee's dulcet tones of the Champions League music, that is due to the fact that obviously recording live on YouTube, we can't obviously have a copyright infringement. So that's why you've got the wonderful Lee McQueen bringing you that Champions League anthem. For our listeners on audio, you have got it. And you've also got Lee's version too. So count how lucky you are for that. Bringing back two of our favourite returning guests to the Last Word on Spurs. Listen, Paralympic 200-metre gold medalist, marathon record holder, ran the length of the UK, and so much more. I can't even read out his statistics. He's that great. We've got the wonderful Richard Whitehead, beer in hand, Spurs in the Champions League. Rich, how you feeling?
It's always a pleasure to have a beer with you guys. It's been emotional. Do you know what? I was actually tense this morning. I was tense this morning, and I was like going, why? Why? We know we've got the tools, we've got the talent, we've got the manager, and we're going to piss it. And we did. Brilliant today. Brilliant game. Really enjoyed watching the game. And the last couple of weeks was a culmination of overcoming so much adversity. And we bossed it. And you know what? All my Arsenal friends have given me shit over the last couple of weeks, couple of years. This one's to you guys. Thank you.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be a party in here tonight.
It's so sweet.
Honestly, I bet it is. Drink it slowly, succinctly, and do it all for us, Richard. I tell you, alongside Richard, I tell you, she is one of our favourite returning guests. Always tells you as it is. You know, she can't really rant about much because it has been a wonderful last 6 months for Spurs. So why can't she celebrate? Why can't she be joyous and Matt Doherty? Why can't she even give us a song? Who knows what's going to come out of her mouth? We've got the wonderful Talia Coren back on Last Word on Spurs. Tal, how are you? Lovely to have you back on.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. What a show that we're going to have. I mean, it went to plan today, right? I think that's the thing that we all want. It went to plan. None of us were plutzing at the end of our seats. It was just got the goal, got the second. We all kind of shifted our minds and went, we want Sonny here. And I mean, we'll obviously talk about it, but when it happened, I think all of us were just so happy. And the players, everyone, I think it just made the mood so much better. But look, we got fourth. We're in the Champions League. It's all positive. Everyone's happy except the Gooners, and who cares? So let's go.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Tal, we must address one thing because already it's being picked up in the comments. So, should we just go and get it out of the way early? I must forgive me because the comments are going absolutely berserk. But there was a comment in here which I will try and go back and find. Nikki Wallace. I know Nikki, a massive fan of Last Word on Spurs. Big viewer as well. Nikki says, Talia, have you got your Doherty shirt yet? Now, obviously, this will really only apply for watching audience on YouTube rather than listeners on audio. Tal, do you want to give the reveal? Have we got a Doherty shirt on?
We've got a here's to you with a Doherty on, okay?
Right.
Ricky didn't give me the full shirt, but the lovely Danny from Digital Spurs sent me this t-shirt and I'm wearing it and I promised it and I'm a person who keeps their word.
There you go.
Doherty. He's great. There we go. That's all we're getting.
Nobody can say that we don't keep to our word on Last Word on Spurs, and Talia, full evidence of that. What a show we've got to bring to you. What a show we've got in store. Before we get into what's going to be an absolutely gigantic, storming Last Word on Spurs show, a quick shout out to wonderful sponsors over at Beavertown Corner Pin. That is the Beavertown bang opposite the South Stand. They've been doing some wonderful screenings of all Spurs televised away games, a home win away feature. Of course, it's over the summer. We're going to hopefully be down there doing some stuff and content with those guys. So listen, despite the season being over, please don't forget going down to the Beavertown Corner Pin. There's been some great days in there. Evenings of seeing Spurs. And I tell you, the atmosphere in there, the gimme. And Lee McQueen knows that club mix. He'll be giving that club mix, I'm sure, whenever he feels like it.
Club mix is coming, baby. The club mix is coming.
It's coming. I know it's coming. It's coming. Great food, great company, great chat. Go and check them out, the brilliant Beavertown, and Tal, the comments going mad for you here. They're loving the shirt. They're loving the belief. They're loving the vibes. So do you know what? Should we get into it? Let's go into it. I mean, Lee, let's start.
Before we do, I've just got a bit of a rendition to go with Talia's shirt. I hope I get this right. Our friends over at Spurs Song Sheets. So here's to you, Matthew Doherty. Tottenham love you more than you know. Whoa. Here's to you, Matthew Doherty. Tottenham love you more than you will know. We're Champions League. Whoa.
Who says we don't perform a Last Word on Spurs? I tell you, we've got singers, we've got actors, we've got auditioners on here. Brilliant. I tell you what, guys, let's get into it. What a show we've got in store. I mean, Spurs, let's come over to you, Lee. Let's start with you, Lee. Spurs finishing fourth and will be playing Champions League football next season. The only place you can find Champions League football in North London, I must add, thumping Norwich City by 5-0. Lee, what do you make of that performance result and the day overall?
Well, it was a relatively easy day in the office for the lads, for the players on the pitch, wasn't it? To be fair, I mean, Norwich didn't lay a glove on us, not even a shot on target. They had 40% possession, woeful 380 passes. They were just absolutely woeful, and they got what they deserved. We absolutely ruined them. 19 attempts, 13 on target, 60% possession, 600 passes, 5 goals, 90% passing accuracy. I mean, we were, if you take all the occasion away and just go out there as a football match, we were far superior. I'll tell you what, we looked like a top 4 side playing the bottom of the league. Couldn't make it up, people. Guess the irony. What it was. So they got exactly what they deserved. To be fair, they were on the beach. They were down in Yarmouth or wherever was near Norwich. I don't know. So they were gone. But when you roll the occasion into what we were doing today, as Rich said right at the beginning of the show, it was a bit tense this morning. We've had all week to think about it. Normally, when Conte has a full week to prepare his team, you're thinking, this is an absolute cahoot. We're going to do it. But I don't know. It was classic Spurs, wasn't it? There was still some Spursy stuff going on in some of us. Like people will say probably in the comments, you're not Spurs unless you feel a little bit like that. And we've blown 8 FA Cup semi-finals. We've blown 2 League Cup finals. We've blown the Champions League final. We couldn't beat Leicester. We couldn't turn Chelsea over in the 16-17 season. We just scraped over the line in the 18-19 season in the Champions League when Aubameyang missed a penalty. So we've all seen it. We've all been there before. So of course there's going to be a bit of tension. But when that first goal went in, my word, was it sweet. And actually Højbjerg had a chance. What in the first few minutes, I think, and he should have bloody scored as well, to be fair to Dustman. So absolutely, when on the pitch, it literally perfect. I mean, we could have scored a couple more as well. Krul made some outrageous saves. I thought the away fans were absolutely phenomenal. Some of our good people that we all know and everyone's associated with the show and whatever, also in other parts of the ground, should we say. And they were also brilliant. I mean, the turnout for the fans, I have to say this, I genuinely believe this. THFC flags and at Spurs song sheets, and everyone else is going. They've done a phenomenal job, and these last
a massive part of us getting over the line, in my opinion, a massive part of helping that stadium atmosphere get over the line. Yep.
I totally agree with you. A massive part, and it's made it massively enjoyable. Everybody being positive, the fans. I think Jace put a tweet out this morning. One of our own said about sometimes the fear can creep in from the fans to the players, and we just had none of that. Going into the Arsenal game, it was just phenomenal. It's been the last 2-3 weeks have been absolutely superb. So massive shout out to HFC flags, and actually they need they're doing it off their own back. So they've got a crowdfunding page, so go after them as well and give what you can and help, or even if it's from a support getting involved. And the same as Spurs song sheets as well, absolutely brilliant. We've got loads of songs going on, and the Benton Curse song, which I will massively give a rendition later on in the show. But the away fans, that's all you need. They were at the top of their lungs today singing it, and it was a joy to hear on the telly. It was amazing. So what he's done, Rich and Talia and Ricky and listeners and viewers, what this man has done for us is back to Poch. It's almost overtaking Poch, if I can say that. And I don't want to get carried away, but I am getting carried away. Well, we should be nowhere near fourth, and we've just finished fourth. And I don't like to say I told you so, but I'm about to say it. I love the blue book and I love my stats, and some people don't like stats. But I told everyone on this show 3-4 months ago that 72 points will get you in the top 4. And guess what? 72 points got you in the top 4. In fact, 71 did in the end. So have the faith. Instead of playing everything else, play the points game. You get 40 points, you stay up. You get 72, you get in the top 4. And that's how the Premier League is over the last 12, 13, 14 years. So absolutely phenomenal. I'm buzzing. I need to turn my mouth off to let somebody else talk, but absolutely brilliant.
What kind of charge you got on that with Lee McQueen? When does Lee McQueen have got to turn off? Never. I must just say, guys, 1,500 of you plus watching us live on Last Word on Spurs. Simply incredible. And again, it just shows the support for this football club is just remarkable. And fans 10 out of 10. Rich, let's come over to you. Spurs firmly cancelling St. Tottenham's Day for a 6th successive season, scoring 5 games away from home. I mean, listen, I've got to say, what a way to clinch a Champions League place and a glorious way to end the season. Rich, sum it up. How do you feel?
Smashed it. It's one of those emotions where you look at the start of the season. After 3 games, we thought we were Premier League title contenders, and then it all went drastically wrong, and we actually saw where we were in the table. And then Conte comes in, and it's about kind of really buying into his philosophy, and his philosophy is about bringing everybody together, getting the best out of the tools that he had, and really bringing consistency to the team. You look at the defensive side over the last 7 or 8 games, it's been phenomenal, and whoever's come into those positions has done a job. And it's not just done the job against the teams like the Burnleys of this world and the Norwiches of this world, but also the Man Cities and the Liverpools. It's been brilliant. And also you look at the players, how they're going on the pitch, not scared. You look at the games that Lee mentioned before, the players in the tunnel, you could see the pressure, you could see the expectation, and then that transferred into the fans. I think Conte has really brought the best out of the players, and there's still loads more to come. I've had some reservations over Emerson. I've had some reservations over Doherty, over Ryan, and those players have really lifted up their game. And I know you're going to do that. Doherty isn't my favourite player, believe you me. And I've got Wolves. I've got Wolves mates that also say it's just a waste of money. But anyway, each to their own, right?
Each their own.
Yeah. Conte has absolutely smashed it, and he's shown his worth. And you look at the teams now that are going, why didn't we get Conte? Man United, why didn't we get Conte? And you just go, look, this guy pitched the project. We didn't get him at the start of the season. Picked the project, saw the path, and he's delivered. Like Lee said, the 72 points, 71 points that we needed to get in the Champions League was important. But you look at the path, it wasn't all smooth. Those Thursday nights at Burnley that we lost, I was pulling my hair out, and Rich, I've not got a lot of hair left.
That show night, I tell you what, I was losing. My hairline was going. I know my mates.
But I still believed. Yeah, I still believed. the thing that we've got now, is we've got a real solid group of players. Now the summer is key to what we do with that.
Yeah.
Do we want to be a fourth place team, or do we want to push on? And we can push on. We've got some world class players. We've got some players that really need to have some competition as well. And I believe we've got the right man in charge.
Yeah, I totally agree. Honestly, the excitement, the jubilation, the love, you guys are feeling it. We're feeling it as well. I must just say, some of the comments I'm receiving on the screen here from you guys, honestly, we can't thank you enough for all the incredible support for Last Word on Spurs throughout the season. It's been down to the likes of the wonderful Lee McQueen and the team behind Last Word on Spurs that made this possible. Great guests on, like Rich, Talia, that give up their time. You guys are a wonderful audience that in the times that we've needed picking up, you've been there for us. So thank you so much for all of your support. We're humbled. Listen, we love Last Word on Spurs. And I can tell you there's times where it has been tough. But for days like today, this is where you want to enjoy it. This is where you love it. And thank you so much again for all of the incredible support. Bringing her in, finally. Bringing Talia in to the show properly now. Tal, Spurs in general, you have to remember that this is a team that was when Conte took over, no shots on target. We couldn't get a shot on target. And when you look at it now, Spurs have conceded just 5 goals in their final 11 games, which is a massive pivotal reason where Spurs now find themselves in a Champions League spot. Because given how much criticism there's been over the club's defence, even under Poch, Nuno, you go back, you have to look at that. The Spurs' defence has always been highly critical. But, to have only 5 goals conceded in those last 11 games, some real tough games for the football club. Then you add to it 8 wins and 2 draws from the final 11. The mentality that Conte has instilled into this squad has been absolutely remarkable. And you have to say, Tal, Spurs now, I think, deserve that Champions League spot, don't they?
Absolutely. I think the 2 words that stick out to me is mentality and togetherness. I think as a club in general, fans, as well as the players and the people associated with the club have been on such a journey over the last few seasons with our change in managers. Everything after Poch seemed like a downward spiral, or disappointment after Mourinho, disappointment with Nuno. And I was saying to the boys before, it's kind of crazy that Nuno was actually our manager this season. It seems like it was 3 years ago because we've come on so much since then. But I think since Conte's come in, there was excitement from the offset from all of us. The fans, the players, everyone was like, oh, okay, we've got a proper manager coming in who has, his ideas, philosophy, and we want to get on board. The group of players that we have fully, adapted to his ways and built a connection in the same way that we kind of used to have with Poch. I think today, looking at pictures in the dressing room, everything, you can tell how close everyone is, and they want the best for each other. It's a proper team again, and everyone is working together, and no one's stroppy if this one's dropped. He's got his starting 11 now, or it seems to be the most consistent of what's happened, but everyone's like, yes, I'm happy to come on and make a difference as a sub. If Lucas comes on instead of Decky, he's cool with that. There's lots happening at the moment where we're working as a proper team that want the same goal, and I think that is abundantly clear. He's improved obviously a ton of players, especially at the back. We've spoken about them all individually. Davies, Dyer, everyone this season has improved massively, Doherty included as well. But I think in general, we've just seen so much progress. And I think it does come down to him. And I was listening to a few bits with Eric Dyer, and he was really complimentary of Antonio and the way that he's put stuff on to the players. And he said, honestly, I believe there's no bad eggs anymore in the dressing room, and take of that what you will. But I think, irrespective of ability, which is something that obviously the summer has to address for some of these players, I think the mindset has been impeccable from all of them. And I couldn't really pull out anyone that you think, do you know what, they haven't bought into it, or they haven't given their 100%. And that's why we've got top 4. And it's amazing. And I think it leaves us all with a huge excitement for the club, what's happening in the future, what's to come, as well as the fact that, we've been called battered by West Ham and Arsenal all season, and look what the table has ended up like. So you can't help but smile when that happens. But Absolutely. It's all exciting, and I'm just thrilled is the word.
Yeah. Tal, lots of love for you in the comments.
Thanks,
you did some background music there. That unfortunately wasn't the Champions League final. That was an ice cream van. But listen, tonight the way it's going, we don't care what's coming our way. So go and get your Flake 99s and come back and tune in.
Oh, 99, please. 99.
With the Flake.
With a flake, we'll take a snowball the way it's going. Anything you fancy, a twin cone, go for a twin cone if you want a twin cone. Antonio Conte after the game. Said, I think it's one of my biggest achievements. Honestly, it's never positive to come into a team during the season. For me, it was a big challenge, maybe the biggest challenge in my career. We are enjoying a lot what we did. And for me, I didn't win a trophy this season like in the past. But if I'm honest, I think to get a place in the Champions League, I have to consider this a really big achievement for me and also the club. This is a big, big achievement. Lee, just to summarise, we sacked Jose Mourinho. We will remember this. We both remember this. Everyone remembers this. I'm talking like this is new news here. We sacked, of course, Jose Mourinho. Kane wanted to leave in the summer. We then spent 3 months looking for a manager. Nearly ended up being Gattuso before we had a fan riot. Then we had Fonseca being linked, which again started an absolute, you name it what it was. We then appointed Nuno, which to be fair, we did all try and get behind to some degree. We then lost to Man United 3-0. We then sacked Nuno. God, I know I'm going really fast here. We then, Conte took over with Spurs in ninth in the position. We were rock bottom in terms of confidence. 6 months later, Lee, we're in the Champions League and he's significantly improved so many players. I mean, how proud are you of this manager and what he has done to this football club?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned about proud because, we're wearing the apparel, under Poch, it was always proud. Like I was proud to show my colours off, if you like, do you know what I mean? And wear the shirt. And I didn't mind, do you know what I mean? It was like, and then after the Poch era, I got a bit like, the media and other rival fans, they were, were playing, low block football and it was a little bit drab and all this sort of stuff. And even when Bale came back, I love Bale. He should come back, by the way, third time, But, even all of that with the way he was being used or wasn't being used with Jose. So I'm really proud. I'm massively proud. And he's bang on. Here's the thing, right? Viewers, listeners, panel, right? Here's the thing. I bet you don't realise this until I tell you. This is why I love statistics. Because Antonio Conte said earlier in his post-match press conference, as Richard said, what an achievement. I didn't win a trophy, but what an achievement. He has just equalled our best ever Premier League points total in the history of the Premier League. Right? The third ever. We've only got a higher points total twice. That was 77 points in the 17-18 season. And of course, 86 points in the 16-17 season. That's what I'm talking about. We're back to bang on Poch days. This fella's done this in 6 months. In 6 months with Doherty and Royale. I mean, this is insane. Like with Ben Davies, everybody wanted him gone. They all wanted him gone. They all wanted all the players gone. And what he achieved is absolutely insane. It's insanity. And we should be very, very happy. The third highest point total in 30 years of playing Premier League football. That is absolutely incredible achievement. And like I said earlier as well, like it's even bigger because it means that he's going to get offered a contract extension. This is me with my crystal ball out. I don't think you need to be a genius to work it out. At least an 18-month contract extension, right? So he's going to stay at the club now 100% for 3 years, in my opinion. Like he's done he's done 6 months. He'll do another 2.5 years. Kane will come out with the contract, right? Bang. He's going to that will be announced. Son's already announced his new contract, obviously last year. This is amazing times for Tottenham. Kulusevski is 9 months older than Phil Foden, right? And I think he's only had 3 goal involvements less than Phil Foden, who just won the Young Player of the Year. Kulusevski's only been at the club for about 5 minutes. I mean,
it's mad. Yeah, it's
mental.
It's
what has happened?
Yeah.
And Bentancur, absolute revelation since he joined us. Like he just literally got miles out of Højbjerg.
Yeah,
loads of people. Yeah, including on our panel, like maybe not necessarily tonight, although I think you were, but certainly in the last one Spurs group, they wanted Højbjerg. He's not good enough. Like get rid of. When Skippy was injured, we were like, oh my god, we're gonna. But Højbjerg's been outstanding again alongside Bentancur. I just think that what he's done with them, I can't. For me, at the most basic level, it's work hard. That's all I've ever heard Conte say. And let's put it over to you, Rich, mate. You're a world champion, Olympic champion. You are a champion, right? Hard work. There is no substitute for it. I run 3 businesses, all that stuff, right? And you don't get to where you go without working your absolute backside off first and foremost. And that's what he's got. Rich, over to you, isn't it? That's what he's got the team doing, no?
And the philosophy, mate, as well, and buying into that philosophy. I think that's what's really been important, that philosophy change doesn't happen in like 2 minutes. And he said that. Conte said there's obviously there needs to be a lot of change. And obviously he was pulling his hair out after the first couple of months because players were still getting quite lazy and not all tracking back and not defending as an 11. And you could clearly see his frustration. We'd win a game, we'd lose a game, and we'd throw away points. And it's clear to see where the improvements can be as well. But like Lee said, it's have a plan, work hard, and also it's not about individual players, it's about the team. And that's really important. That's Conte's philosophy. Defence is obviously how you win games, and he is very defensive minded. And I think we're going to have more resources in that area. But as you can see, it's not. We've defended better, and then because of that, we've had more scoring opportunities. Kulo coming in like revelation. He is absolutely amazing as a player, like unbelievable. Like he's come into the team, and obviously I think it took him maybe a couple of games to realise this is what it's like every game, and then literally he comes on and he's bossing the games, like bossing the wing backs of the opposition's team. And then he's looking to shoot. He's looking to put it in the top corner like he did today. Phenomenal. Great team performance today. And fourth, we deserve to be fourth by the sheer hard work.
Totally agree. I must say, guys, we are going to react to Antonio Conte's comments in the press just because I know Lee's brought them up to some degree there. Rich, let's just stick you for a second because just on the job Conte's done, we have to remind viewers, listeners, if you need reminding, and of course, wonderful audience as well. Spurs with 7 points adrift after that defeat at Turf Moor against Burnley. We looked dead and buried at that point. We looked absolutely finished. I know doing this show that night, I felt finished. And then we went on to win 10 of the remaining 14 Premier League games. You consider that? I mean, that's just pure. I mean, that title winning form. Or you've got to say that's unbelievable, isn't it? How he's galvanised the squad together for that.
And that's why you can see him kicking on next year with the resources. It's all about resources as well. We've got a strong-ish first 11. Maybe some of the positions need looking at, but strong-ish 11. We need to have some real kind of players on the bench that can come on, some weapons to actually bring on to actually provide us with more opportunities. I think when you look at that Burnley game, it was very evident that we'd go away to Burnley on a Thursday night. It's pissing it down with rain. That were the players really up for it? I think Conte at that point got the players in the changing room and said, are you up for playing with in a team that's managed by me? A Spurs team that wants not only to go for top four, but to challenge for things. I think that was the challenge he gave the team. And from that, the players have responded, clearly have responded to that challenge. And I still believe that there's players that need to be shipped out because their time's probably ended at Spurs. But I also feel, like Lee was saying, there's players that have kind of come into the team that have brought on other players and they're overperforming for sure. And it's a real pivotal next 12 months for Spurs. Are we a top 4 team or are we really going to push third and then become, like we were, a title challenging team?
Yeah, totally agree. I must say, guys, there's over 2,000 plus of you watching us live. I'm going to do a Lee McQueen here. Hit the bloody like button. McQueen, tell him. Hit the like button.
Follow.
Honestly, you've got to follow, hit the like button. You've got to subscribe to this stuff. I mean, 2,000 people. We've got to get at least 2,000 likes. Come on, viewers. I know listeners, you probably hate it when you're listening to this back on the pod. But the viewers, come on, man. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Talk to me. Give me some thumbs up. That's what I'm talking about.
Can I ask Lee what he's actually got in his hair as well? What is that in his hair? Is that elastic band? What's going on there?
It's a celebration.
My locks are so long in a minute. I'm thinking, why not? I just go with a Jack Grealish. You know what I mean? I thought I could rock it. So fair enough. Actually, I'm going for a little look. Do I look like my painting there? Look, there you go. Look, side profile.
We're gonna go over to Tal. Tal, coming over to you. Just to reflect on Conte's comments today. He declined the opportunity to confirm he'll be here next season, other than to say, I'm a person who has ambition. I like to fight for something important to lift the trophy. For me, this is a trophy and I'm very happy, then we'll see. I always said at the end of the season, I'd speak to the club and we'll find the best solution. I'm under contract until next summer. I signed a contract for 1 year and 7 months. I've enjoyed a lot of my time in Tottenham. It was a big challenge in a modern club with a fantastic stadium and a training ground. I knew the situation. And, you know, what do you make of those comments for you, Tal? Do you need that reassurance going into the summer? Do you agree with Lee that we're going to see him sign a new contract at the club, has achieved Champions League football? What does the future hold in your opinion now with Antonio Conte?
I think Conte has absolutely fallen in love with our club. Genuinely, I think he is on that touchline at home and looks around and is like, yeah, we're doing something special. And I generally think that because the fans love him. We all love him. We sing his name every game multiple times. You know, if he's stressed, he doesn't take notice. But if we're chilling, he claps round. He's all smiles. And I think you can just see that bond he has with the players. He said, you know, he wants to build something special with these players and with this club. He said the fans deserve it. Everyone deserves it. You know, players come and go. But, you know, as a fan base, we're with this for life, right? We are. And I think he's really kind of understood that we have always been this nearly club and we've never quite got it over the line. And I think he genuinely wants to be the person that can do that. And, you know, he's probably going to come the closest. You know, of course, we had the Poch stuff, but after that, you know, it's been nothing. And I think he's come in, really spurred on this team. I think at the beginning was definitely apprehensive, and I don't think he could quite work out what was going on. I know he said at one point, this is more of a challenge, and I thought it was going to be. But I think the fact that we've actually ticked that box and achieved what he always wanted to achieve, that he didn't even think was achievable, is almost like well, we're bloody great. Like, we've done a massive job. So do you know what, Daniel Levy? Like, you give me the resources, we're storming through here. And I think it's amazing. I think that he's never going to turn around and be like, my future is 100% committed, because it gives him no bargaining chips. And we all know you need bargaining chips against our board. So, you know, fair enough. I think he answered it well. I think he's going to be here. I think, like we said, the fact Sonny's committed, Kane's going to be committed. It gives away, you know, all the awful things we had to deal with last summer. The stability is there. We've got consistent results. We've got consistent players. He'll ship out who he doesn't want to be there because they're not good enough. Hopefully be backed enough to get those players in. And next year, like the other guys just said, you know, it's ours, right? We've got to close the gap. And if we've got the players, we've got the manager. So let's go for it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really, really do. Just to finish up on Conte's quotes, what came out of his post-match presser, he said, I'm a person who has ambition. I like to fight for something, to lift a trophy. For me, this is like a trophy. I'm very happy. Then we'll see. I always said at the end of the season, I'd speak to the club and we'll find the best solution. He said, to become very good and compete for something important, you need to improve in many aspects. I know only one word, and that word is work, work, work. Everybody has to do that in terms of the right path for the process. Now, I think for me, the club and my players, I think it's good to have 3 to 4 or 5 days rest, and then my mind will be clear, and then you can consider the whole season and be calm before you speak. Now, lots of emotion for me in my mind. I'm very tired. I was focused on completing a very big task. It was a big achievement. I want to consider this qualification like a trophy. And I said that quite a lot in the last few quotes there from Antonio Conte. That's how big it is for him. Now, we know from friends of the show, Fabrizio Romano, who'll be back with us in the summer, Fabrizio said and confirmed that Antonio will meet with the Spurs board in the coming days. Talks will progress soon. Lee, for you, what does the future hold for Tottenham and Antonio Conte? Is it a marriage made in heaven with still lots more in the script to come?
Yeah, definitely. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, I'll be absolutely flabbergasted. And this is Tottenham, by the way. So it may
this
be
is Spurs, and this is last one of Spurs. So don't let anything surprise you, right?
I'll tell you what. Yeah, if Ali Gold's going on holiday in the next couple of days, something's going to kick off in it. No, look, I mean, this is Tottenham, so something might happen, but I'll be flabbergasted if it did. I mean, I totally agree with Talia. I think he's fallen in love with us. We've fallen in love with him. That North London derby, you know, we mentioned, Spurs song sheets and HFC flags earlier, and the atmosphere, the fans, the home fans, the away fans. The away fans have been absolutely outrageous all season. The home fans, we've had to sort ourselves out a little bit during the season, but we've got there in the end. But that North London derby, singing his name, I think we've seen his name from 2 minutes into the Burnley game. Where
120 seconds in was insanity.
You can't You can't block that.
How can you not back him now? Yeah, how can you not back him now?
Everything about it. I mean, Daniel was obviously there. Daniel Levy was there today, wasn't he, in the director's box at Norwich? And he must be loving everything that he's seen. Absolutely everything he's seen. The people that run the football club, they've made some horrendous decisions in the past, like horrific decisions, but they also did make the decision to bring Conte in as manager. And, you have to, at some point, you have to say, well done for that, right? Because Conte's come in. The two signings in January, as we said in the comments, and you guys were saying earlier, absolute difference. I think, friend of the show, one of the boys, Michael Bridge, he tweeted earlier about them signings, and I think Jonathan Veal as well. He tweeted earlier about the signings, and actually the fact that the other top four challengers at the time, they didn't make a signing. West Ham was what you got to remember, like they were right in the mix. West Ham, Wolves, Manchester United, Arsenal, they were all in the mix, weren't they, for the fourth? And none of them made a signing in January. And we were the only club that made a signing in January, and it made a difference. Bentoncourt's got 2 assists today. Kulusevski scored 2 again. Yeah, what's that? I think he scored 5 goals and 8 assists or something since January the 31st.
Yeah,
barking numbers, absolutely barking.
Yeah.
So I think what he's built. I think genuine, and I did tweet this out in the week. Actually, it's a brilliant quote that he said in the pre-match press conference with in the embargo section that obviously Ali Gold wrote up. And I tweeted out something along the lines. I have to paraphrase a little bit. You have to forgive me, but he said something along the lines of, "I want to say thank you to the club because it's not hard in January to get exactly what you want." So I say thank you because ultimately what he was saying there is like, well, I got the players in that I wanted, and I wanted the people out that I wanted. And Dembele, remember, he still plays for Tottenham. Like he's actually back at the club now. I think obviously close season. Lo Celso, Brian Hill, Jack Clark. There's a massive amount of work to do in the summer, which is massively exciting. But I think if Conte sits down with Daniel Levy and Paratici and co and says, "This is my vision. I've shown you what I can do, and this is why I want to take the football club. Are you with me?" And they say yes. I think he signs an extension, and I've got no doubt that that's what will happen.
Yeah, no, because I'm very superstitious. Thomas has said to me, Conte will only stay if Ricky sings a Ben Davies song. Now, what I'm going to do is, just for the listeners, just so they don't get the full left, I'll give you the first line, and then literally you can run with it. You to me are everything, the sweetest song I can sing, Ben Davies. Ben Davies. That's what you get for now. More to come later. Keep coming. Right, before we go for our first break of the show, Arsenal, and this is credit to Jamie Brown, Arsenal really did finish 5th in a 4-horse race. They really did. And don't let your Arsenal mates tell you otherwise. Go back now to your mentions, because trust me, after this show, I'm blocking that WhatsApp group. I'm going in on them, and they want to hit them. So I'm telling you right now, make sure you do the same. Spurs have now finished above Arsenal for 6 seasons in a row. Let them know it and tell them. And don't let them forget it either. And Arteta has now also finished behind 3 Spurs managers. I tell you, how are they feeling at the moment? Do we care? Does anyone want to say a word now they're feeling? Do we even care? No, we don't. No, we don't even give them a word. We can't even see them. We're so levels above them now, we can't even see them. No interest. So what we will do is we will go for our first break of the show. For our wonderful besotted audience, listeners that are probably listening as well on audio, thank you so much. For our watching audience on YouTube, there's over 2,000 of you watching us live on a night in which Tottenham have qualified for the Champions League. And you do not know how much I wanted to say that in the past 7 or 8 hours. I've been waiting to say that. Now, finally be able to say it. Now, you also know throughout the whole season of Last Word on Spurs here that we've been absolutely delighted to be sponsored by NordVPN. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, Nord are, of course, a safe, reliable VPN. We've called him the Harry Kane, the king of VPNs, with the device protection of Christian Romero, who's going to come back and be absolutely superb when he's back from injury. We know he wanted to come back today. He couldn't, but he'll be back with us, I'm sure, for pre-season. And, of course, the internet speed of Heung-min Son. For me personally, this product has helped me going through the airport. This is why you're going to need it. You're going to need it for next season when Spurs are back in the Champions League and you are travelling. You are going to need NordVPN to help you when you're going from airport to airport for team news, for the game itself. Make sure you check them out. We've got a great code there on the screen. LWOS, that website, www.nordvpn.com/LWOS. Get on that code. Get NordVPN. You're going to need them for the Champions League, and we're going to. And what a tour that is going to be. Spurs in the Champions League. and we'll be watching every minute of it, and we'll be following every second of it on Last Word on Spurs as well. So thank you so much for your support. And many people are asking, what about the game? What about the players? Don't worry, we're coming on to all that. It's one of those shows. We're fitting it all in. What's the panic? You can see the panic on our listeners' faces and the guests. We are trying to panic it and try and cover it all. We'll try our best. Guys, Tal, let's start with you. Conte, just a one change made to that team lineup today for that final match against Norwich. Harry Kane, we know there was a bug before the game itself. I mean, he recovered in time, Kane, in that starting 11. Kulusevski coming back in for Lucas Moura. So that team read Lloris, Sanchez, Dyer, Davis, Emerson, Bentancur, Højbjerg, Sessegnon, Kulusevski, Kane, Son, with a bench of Galini, Roden, Craig, White, Winks, Devine, Bergwijn, Lucas, Scarlett. I say this every week. When I read that bench, how was Antonio Conte got Tottenham top four? I don't know. I don't care, but Spurs are there. Tal, what did you make of the team when you obviously found out about it?
Team as expected. I think that is, like I said before, seems to be the 11 that he's settled on. Obviously, if Romero was fit, he would definitely be amongst the mix. But in the last few weeks, I think it's been pretty consistent. And bar any of the bugs getting the players, which thankfully didn't happen, I definitely thought that would be how we'd start. And like I said, I think consistency is a word that we probably haven't emphasized enough. And that is in multiple ways. It goes from team sheet as well as results. And I think that's something that we've seen a lot of. And I know I've spoken about this in the past with, I know teams obviously do rotate, but I think having that core stable backbone, building the momentum, getting the wins, working with each other, understanding how they work together is a really big part of success. And I think we've definitely seen that. So seeing that team sheet, I think can all agree, there was no like, oh, that's dodgy. Or you kind of looked at it and thought, I don't know why he's there. It's, you see that, you think, yes, this is what we've got. I'm happy with that. See how it goes. And I think, again, it was a really good example again of how well that has worked again today. And team as expected, everyone performed. We'll talk about individual performances, but it was a game that none of us had to be too concerned about. I think they weren't very good. We were clinical, some absolute screamers in there. Got the job done. Can't complain.
Certainly. Absolutely. Lee, coming around to you. I mean, the first goal, people were joking aside saying, well, it was, you look at the way Spurs started the game. There was that concern. We were speaking beforehand, Lee, that, we both said fast start. And that's exactly what Spurs got. And it was a goal made in January. It was a goal bought in January. We had Højbjerg lifting a ball over the top of Bentancur, who ran onto it, drew the keeper in beautifully before Kulusevski slots home 1-0, quarter of an hour gone, 16 minutes. Lee, the perfect start, just to relax any nerves that there might have been, right, Lee?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was hoping for an earlier goal, to be honest. 16.
Weren't we all, right?
Yeah, I know, exactly. No, look, exactly as you say it again. You look at Højbjerg. The pass that he played in the first place was excellent. So I think everything that the team does now is done based on Antonio Conte's precision. I think that move is worked on. It's like a playbook in the NFL. Like if I think they have to analyze it. Somebody in the comments might know this better. I mean, you guys might know as well. But I think they have to analyze situation after situation so that they, when it happens, or they can actually pass that ball, it becomes like a playbook, like in NFL.
For sure.
So
for sure,
like drawing them out, isn't it, Rich? You know what I mean? Like, so sit back a little bit, draw them out a bit. Then it gives you the choice to play, playbook 1 or playbook 2, or however they're going to do it. But that's how it kind of works. Like you look at the way Harry Kane takes penalties. It's like Johnny Wilkinson, right? When he used to take his kicks, and the way he composes himself, and it's just a method, like a methodology, a method around how they do things. And I find it fascinating, because that for me is the mental side of stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like that ability to be able to do something repetitive over and over, and get them plays, if you like, right. So it's a brilliant ball. Great. I thought your doppelganger, Ricky Bentancur, I thought he might have a go, and it was very unselfish to give it to Kulu. But as you say, played in January, and the two new boys essentially getting a goal and an assist, and it was a perfect start.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it was Bentancur, to be fair to him, broke into miles of space, Rich, didn't he? It was a really lovely move from Spurs, and many talk about staying calm, not panicking. He squared it, obviously, of course. I mean, lovely move from Tottenham. And I must just say also, we're going to come on to Højbjerg in a bit more detail later. Credit to him for the initial pass, because I think some of the times that goes unnoticed in a team move like that puts Spurs ahead where that move starts from. But January signings combining, what did you make of the goal, Rich? Important start for us, surely.
Awesome. Awesome. I think also you've got to look at, do you know those games where we hadn't started on the front foot?
Yep.
That was because Højbjerg was in a deeper position. Conte said, look, you need to be braver. Look, we've got Bentinker here. He's fantastic on the ball, always makes the right decision, but also he's so quick at tracking back. He's got a great eye for danger. If you're wanting to get forward, I want you to do that. And like Lee was saying as well, as he got into that position, he had options as well. So he was, obviously players were in position for that cutback. So definitely has got a playbook in certain scenarios, and that's what's building that consistency. Those layers of the team are now building of that, what Conte expects players to, how they want to work, how they want to pass, how they want to work for the team. You can see it's definitely he's building that cake, and that cake obviously today really was nice and sweet and not as salty like the Arsenal fans. But yeah, the first goal definitely set the tone for today.
I tell you what, there's hundreds of them in here. The salt, I tell you, it's like the BAE, you drop it on right. It's like, you guys know, the kids know better than me, right? There you go. Rich has got it nailed down. That's what I was trying to do.
I've got 2 kids, mate.
There you go. Rich knows what he's doing. I'm glad someone knows what they're doing here. All right, Tal, coming around to you. Spurs going 2 up. I mean, Krul got it just really badly wrong. His clearance cut out by Bentancur again. Assist man for the first couple of goals. Square it to Kane to nod home into an empty net. A goal, as we said, also made in January. Paybacks as well for the heroics of Tim Krul. We can't forget in 2013 in the Newcastle goal. How nice was it, Tal? 2-0 up, sitting back, and just, watching Spurs playing like Spurs under Conte.
It's what we wanted, right? I think we've watched so many games, whether it's been under Conte or not, where you've got the 1-0, you sit back, pressure, what's going to happen? Or even if it doesn't look like that, we're capable of just an error and, all the hard work's done and you're back to square one. I think we all wanted today a game where we didn't feel like that in any way, shape or form. 1-0's not enough. With Spurs fans, 2, even 3 sometimes isn't enough. You never know what we're capable of. But I think for the first time, where I know I speak for myself, the first goal is so important because, that's the opener. And you almost kind of think, like, if that happens, there's a good chance they're going to fold or the floodgates are going to open if we're going to continue. I think before they game, they said, they've not beaten a top 6 side. They're relegated with a minus 40 odd goal difference for a reason. And we have scored, up there with the top amount of goals since Conte's been around. So you think you partner them together. Why shouldn't we, be scoring against a team like this? It's an opportunity that we need to secure. They don't really have anything to play for. So let's go for it. And I think that second goal kind of cemented a little bit where you can kind of sit back that little bit more and think, H is never missing from there. It was, you had that very kind of smug look being like, do you know what, Tim, you owed us one, hun. So that was kind of a bit of a happy little moment. But I think that was the goal where you were like, right, we're not screwing this up. Or I felt like, whatever happens, even if they would have got a lucky goal somehow, I felt like we were strong enough to push on and just batter them either way. So I think for me, that was definitely reassuring. But no, it was a start and I felt more were coming and it happened. So happy days.
I'm conscious Sonny will take a lot of the headlines there. We're going to come on to Son shortly. I know Lee wants to go in.
Who got the first 2 assists, Rick? Who got the first 2 assists?
Bentancur. I think Bentancur got them both.
Bentancur.
He's the reason why we're playing Champions League season. Comes from his place to Sweden. Then we go Bentancur.
There you go.
Get in there, come on.
We're not letting Spurs song sheets down tonight.
Listen, Tim, I know he's watching tonight. Absolute legend. He puts a lot of the vocals around a lot of the stuff that Spurs song sheets are doing as well. That has come straight out of that top drawer through Spurs song sheet. Brilliant tune. The away fans obviously sung it a damn sight better than I did just a minute ago today at the Norwich. And it was true today, wasn't it? He's actually ends up being the reason.
He's the reason.
He's playing on Wednesdays next season. He did come with his mate from Sweden and his Rodrigo Bentancur. Absolutely top drawer. I mean, I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it.
I tell you, yeah, the way Lee's going, we'll be absolutely fine on the Spice Girls on Last Word on Spurs. Listen, who knows what's coming next season? Where we go on, who goes?
You're clearly sporty, yeah. You've got sporty covered.
Oh, this show never fails to amaze me. I was going to say we're going to bring it on to the.
Quick note to Lex as well. Quick note to Lex, who
he's
like,
mate.
as an Arsenal fan. Look at Lex.
Yeah,
as an Arsenal fan, Lex, it's a shame that you're in here amongst 2,000 Spurs fans when you should be celebrating.
Can I make a slight admission? Lex is one of my best mates, and he's salty as honestly. He won't accept this. Honestly, he won't accept this. We were talking about this last night, and I knew he'd be watching. Lex, I love you, man. But
have you got the sad filter on?
he's in bits.
It's fine. They've got Super Arteta or whatever the hell they say.
Super Mick Arteta. He knows exactly what we need. I can't say the rest of that song because Lex knows what comes of that. And honestly, if I say the rest of that, I tell you, I might get really in trouble. You guys know the rest, right? My God.
Listen, Kane as well. Just quickly on that second.
I'm glad you brought him up because he. Go on. Yeah,
I was going to say that's his second diving header, isn't it? In a couple of games because he scored a diving header, didn't he, against Arsenal? Yeah. Sorry, against Arsenal, didn't he?
On Kane, do you know what? Because I know Son's going to take a lot of the headlines of this show, but a word on Kane for a second. 9 goals on the final day of the Premier League season for Harry Kane, the joint most in the competition's history, alongside Andy Cole, Les Ferdinand Cole's the first former Spurs player, but also just to actually, summarise Kane's season as a whole. He had obviously the Euros, he had the massive transfer saga, which I know was difficult for a lot of Spurs fans. And of course, he then had Nuno Ball, which I know mentally for all of us, including Kane, to get your head around that and then to get over is a big thing. Conte coming in, which I know obviously for him was a massive pull, and hopefully the reason why he's hopefully going to sign a new contract. And on top of that, he went from scoring once in the first 13 games to then 16 in his last 24, also 9 assists. Lee, I don't think you actually ever wavered your support of Harry Kane. I think, you always felt he was going to get back mentally to that place of banging in goals. So it's still been a really good season for Kane, hasn't it?
Absolutely. And one of our own as well, Frankie, same. We never, ever wavered on Kane because, regardless of what was going on with him, right? And again, Talia mentioned about Nuno right at the beginning. Like, did that even happen? Like, I remember in the summer, I remember being in Spain and we're chatting and we're doing shows and stuff. I'm thinking... everyone's saying Kane's going to leave, and I was saying he's going to stay, and I had that bit of information, didn't I? Like I said to you guys about, and I said, he ain't going nowhere, and he didn't. And believe you me, he'd be announcing his new contract. Don't worry about it. So the turnaround of them stats that you just said: 16 goals in the last 24 games, 17 goals and 9 assists in the Premier League alone. And he didn't even score, I don't think, his first Premier League goal until November the 3rd or something. That's absolutely insane numbers again.
I think even if you look at his physical shape as well, he looks like he's pulled up his socks and he works really, really hard on the ball and off the ball. You can tell. But there's definitely been a shift. I think the first part of the season, he was lethargic, and I did criticise him personally about he just didn't really have that appetite that he had the season before. But you can tell that he's bought into the whole club philosophy moving forwards. And I think, Lee, like you said, he's going to sign that new contract because he knows that investment's going to really come in at the top because the club's already promised Conte that, I think.
On Kane today, Tal, you look at it, he lovely move to send Kulusevski away early on down the right-hand side for Spurs before sending a couple of efforts, to the goal himself that was saved by Krul, in the right place at the right time for the header, put Son in at one point as well. He was really part of everything today, Harry Kane. I know, as we said, Son is going to get a lot of the plaudits, and rightly so, but Kane, I don't think we can overshadow, how good he has still been this season despite everything that's gone on. Are you fully over the whole Kane situation in the summer now, Tal, for you?
100%. I know I was on amongst the chaos as well, I think a couple of times when we were speaking about it. And my view was always, I did question whether he was committed enough, but I never, ever questioned his ability and our love for us all to want him to stay. And I am the first to say, and speak on behalf of everyone. We're all so happy that he did commit, and I think Conte is a huge part of that. He's been reborn in a way, right? Like for him, I think this is definitely two halves. Like he wasn't excited for him that, the edge that we thought Mourinho was potentially going to give him at the time and be like, you're the special one, I'm going to make it happen for you. And he came back in, fully firing, getting back to the basics where it is. I think, like you just said, he scored a great amount of goals. His play all over the pitch is absolutely incredible. And I think he's got so much recognition from all the top pundits, which I don't think really has been spoken about that much before. I think as a fan base, we will kind of watch every single game and we watch him and see how much he does backtracking and defensively. We see that. But I think for the first time, everyone else seems to see that as well. But this season, he's been outstanding for that, the second part. And, him and Kane, their telepathy and what's happened is amazing. I think, to a degree, I think it must be moderately bittersweet that Sonny's got the golden boot when, Kane's obviously won that for ages. But I actually think that he's completely thrilled for him as well, because they have such an incredible connection. And, without Kane and Sonny, we would not be where we are. And that is true for multiple seasons as well as this one. So I think that Kane's incredible. We love Kane. I'm excited for him to be, our front man to continue in the future, especially with Conte and hopefully other people behind him. I think his
job in the team will change next year. I think Kane will. I remember an interview that when Conte first came into the club, and he said he wants a striker in between, in between the posts. And I think what happened was Conte saw that we were lacking in that number 9 position, and he's gone, look, Kane's the best sprayer of the ball. He can go through those lines. He's still going to get 18, 19 goals a season, but this year this is his role. Get us in Europe. He'll go back into that role, and then he'll fill somebody in the summer, somebody that he wants, that he really wants. He's got the other 2 boys, but somebody who he really wants in that position, somebody world class that's got that experience. And then I think we'll fly next season.
I completely agree. But I also think the same, in a weird parallel kind of way for Sonny, that Sonny's taking our corners when he should be in the box because no one else can take a corner. And it's those same
all
things.
free kicks.
If we just had someone that
James
could take
Ward-Prowse,
a set piece,
100%. You should try and say WP just on that basis. He's a weapon. Free kicks and corners, utter weapon. He's a total upgrade on Harry Winks. No offense to Harry. We know Harry's probably going to be getting a new club in the summer. Go and buy another English player to replace Harry Winks, homegrown, etc., etc. All that tick, tick, tick. James Ward-Prowse. He don't want to be sitting in Southampton. He wants to go and play Champions League football, and he would be perfect for that role.
Yeah,
because,
for sure.
Again, coming back to that philosophy, if you like, or that playbook, you haven't got anybody in the playbook that can score from free kicks. Like we have no one that is good at set pieces. We never have. No one. Like so actually go and buy that person that also plays in the heart of central midfield, like Harry Winks would. But he's an absolute weapon, James Ward-Prowse. So again, it's fascinating chat getting into that stuff because I totally agree with both of you.
You agree on that, Tal? For you, would you want to see him at the club, Tal? James Ward-Prowse?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's English. He's good at set pieces. I would like I'm not completely sure on the market and who actually exists, but having that kind of player with a bit of something else would obviously be even better. But yeah, I would be happy. I think we just desperately, every time there's a set piece, no one's really that excited, right? Generally speaking, no one is. If Kane over the ball and a free kick, I know where I sit in a stadium and a home game, everyone's like, well, what's the point? Same for a corner. And on TV, they reel these stats and they're like, oh, converting from set pieces. And we somehow seem to be up there to some degree. And I just sit there and I'm like, are you sure? I'm pretty sure we haven't scored from these corners.
Yeah, we're shit.
What's happening? But look, it's been
shit.
No, it is though.
We're fourth. We're fourth.
Look, we are fourth.
We're Champions League. We're Champions League.
We're fourth and we've got away with it. But I generally think this set piece kind of player would help us leaps and bounds because look, you have set pieces every game. It's worth the investment when you've got players like Kane and Sonny who are looking and sniffing for those goals. You get a good ball in and beat the first man. Our chances double. It is important, especially the tall Burnleys. I know they've been relegated, bless them. But when you've got tall players, those set pieces are important. And if you get a good ball in,
But I think what's interesting about statistics as well is the top 2 clubs in England this year Man City, obviously, and Liverpool, who, again, just a quick word on that, because also I know it's Tottenham's last word on Spurs, but wow. I mean, what an unbelievable fight. Like, to be 1 point in it again between them two clubs is just, they're at a different level, an elite level of just, unbelievableness. But they've got, the reason why I bring them up, both of them clubs have got the most goals from set pieces this year. Could you make that up? Like, we're thinking, like the Boltons back in the day, like put it in the mix of the Burnleys, whatever. It's them two clubs who've got more set piece goals than any other.
And how many points did it take off Man City?
Well, exactly. Yeah, exactly, mate. Bring it back.
Yeah. Our problem has been consistency.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think it's going to be very, very fascinating to see. Excuse me, how the puzzle pieces go together, because there's a lot of chat going on in the chats now about James Ward-Prowse. Yes, no. If you brought in a James Ward-Prowse, because he'd be expensive to captain with maybe 40 million or whatever it might be, where does he play? Because he's not going to kick out Bentancur, is he, from the team? And he ain't going to kick out Højbjerg and can't perform. You've got Skippy to come back in. I'm not saying...
And Pape Matar coming as well, potentially. He may get...
he's got a World Cup year, so, he's going to want to play. He plays every week at Southampton. It's going to be fascinating. It's going to be fascinating.
Yeah,
loads of games next year to play, 60 plus, hopefully.
Yeah. As you said earlier, Bentancur really the conductor of those first two, the assistman behind Spurs' first two goals. And then we saw Spurs racing to a 3-0 lead. Now, just when we saw Kulusevski really about to infuriate Conte, because Kulusevski was trying to set up Son for the golden boot. And I think we all felt for him because we knew what he was trying to do. But even at 2-0 again, being a Spurs fan, everybody should know, even being a Spurs fan, when you're playing bottom of the table, already relegated Norwich, right? I mean, it's all being well. It is still not done. Keep on going, right? Don't care about golden boot. What Conte says, personal glories aside, it's all about the team. I think Kulusevski saved himself, right? A couple of minutes later, he obviously got his goal. And I tell you honestly, it was and what a guy it was. Beauty from Kulusevski. You look at his stats this season: 13 goal involvements, 5 goals, 8 assists in just 18 Premier League games. I mean, certainly along with Bentancur, those two have been the most impactful Spurs signings I can remember in a long, long time, Rich, haven't they? The way they've hit the ground running from January. I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better window in terms of players coming in and making a difference.
The fear factor's actually gone out of the play. He came into the team, no fear factor. He likes to run with the ball. He likes to run at the opponent. He's great on the ball, can cross from wide, can cut in. What a finish. And that's great for him moving forward. We can count on his goals in the team, also his creativity. He gives us great options in those forward positions. Like you said, in the past, we've bought players just to fill positions. No. This is an upgrade. This is an upgrade not just for now. And like Lee was saying, he's a young lad that really has a bright future for Tottenham and Sweden for sure. And now I think Conte is going to build in other positions. And also, I think in the start of this season, when we were really lacking in that confidence from the wide area, swinging the ball in, Emerson Royal, really poor the first start of the season. I think now he's got somebody in front of him, showing him obviously how to actually get the ball in and get that ball in quick. Definitely been better at the end of the season. And again, when you've got players that are really showing you the way, it really does upskill the players that you've got in the team.
I totally agree. We will come on to, Ricky Rodrigo Bentancur there as Charles and I absolutely butchered it said. What was I going on there about? I've actually butchered the namesake. We'll come on to him shortly. We'll come into it shortly. That's a bad one. That's when you know summer's coming. I'm on a sunbed at some point and I need a break for a couple of weeks and McQueen's at the wheel. Tell you what you got coming your way. I don't know what's coming your way, but McQueen knows what's going on. That's the main thing. We've said about Kulusevski coming over to you, Lee. Let's come back around here on Kulusevski. Could have really had an assist actually after 8 minutes, to be fair to him. Could have got the real wrath of Conte for that moment before, picking up a wonderful, glorious finish. But overall, Spurs, Kulusevski, Lee, I mean, what an impact of a player. I know you've loved our Swedish forward, haven't you, for what he's brought to the table? And we know from Fabrizio Romano, friend of the show, that he's already officially a Spurs player, right? That will be announced in the summer.
4, 3, 2, 1. Gimme your ginger.
Sweet.
Your adventure, Danny plays on the wing.
Gimme your ginger. Sweet.
Up on the adventures, Danny plays on the wing. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you've just read his numbers out. I said it earlier, I think in the show, as Rich just referenced, he's only 9 months older than Phil Foden. He's only been in the league 5 minutes, and he's got 13 goal contributions. I thought he was outstanding again today for that first for the first effort for Højbjerg. His feet were outrageous. I mean, put I know it's probably not hard, even I could probably do it, but putting 2 Norwich players on their arse is, he did it with ease, didn't he? In the box, he just did it with ease. It was absolutely brilliant. So total quality. I love the bloke as well. He seems like he found his club straight away. Chris Cowlin, obviously on the Tottenham Fan Chris Cowlin show, but obviously friend of our show and obviously regular on here. Top guy. He always says, he says, they're Juventus rejects. Well, give us some more rejects then, because them two have been absolutely off the planet. And you're right, Rick. You're spot on. I can't remember a signing, probably like Rafa van der Vaart, maybe having an impact like that. You think of all the fans, including me, including everyone, all of the fans. Cheers, Jay.
Love you, Jay. Cheers, mate.
Love you.
Don't do that again.
All of the fans that want these massive signings, like all this big money players and all this sort of stuff, and it just exactly, mate. It just goes to show you that you don't need to go and do 65 million and Dembele's. What you need to do is recruit properly, and loads of people have said it, and I've definitely said it on here loads. I've been in recruitment myself for 20 years. They're my businesses that I run. Our recruitment in Tottenham has been woeful, and that is the thing that's needed to be sorted out. With Paratici cooking and Conte choosing the meals to go out, I think it could be very, very, very rewarding for us. Our recruitment only just changing. You only need to put 2 or 3 more players into the mix into the right ingredients, and this team could absolutely fly. And I know, Rich and Talia, you're not massive fans of Doherty, and I know you're wearing a shirt and that tonight, but what? I can't believe he got Doherty.
I was like, sorry, who do I hate? Him.
But you know what? Like, I can't believe he got a tune out of what he did. It was very unfortunate to get injured. I think we could have gone on our unbeaten run even further with him not being injured. So I just feel that the right ingredients in this team, we could be. Look, don't expect a massive run in the Champions League next year. Like, I know the Arsenal fans are giving us some banter and whatever in the chat, saying, "Oh, you're going to get knocked out straight away." That's not a problem for Spurs. The reason getting into the Champions League this year is not about going and winning it next year. It's not about that, and we're not ready for that. It was about, for me, it's just my opinion. Hopefully, this is the same. We agree. What it was for me is getting back to that top table, getting the 100 million that we're going to get for going in there, getting the stadium sponsorship that our good friend Todd Klein is negotiating right now. The club hasn't done that because they weren't in the Champions League. They are going to get an uplift of 20-25% on a commercial deal. It will be the biggest stadium sponsorship deal, in my opinion, on the planet once they do it. Currently, it's the Sophie Stadium, Sapphire Stadium, in the Ram Stadium in LA. And all of these things are coming together. When the club built the stadium, it was very, very difficult, and then the COVID hit and all the stuff that was going on. We just need to make sure that we make the right decisions. And I just feel with Conte on the footballing side, with Paratici on the footballing side, that's the bit that we're now starting to get right. So it's not about a long champion. Look, that'll be a bonus, right? If we get to the semi-final of the Champions League next year, holy moly, what a ride that's going to be. But let's focus. Conte wants the league. His Champions League, or his European, I think his Champions League actually, I think got to European final, didn't he, with it into last season. But his Champions League, I think he's won 3 games in 15. 3 games. It's not great. In 15. It's not great. Yeah. So
it's the pull factor, though. It's the pull factor.
100%.
In all aspects, player, team, totally everything. I think that is the word. It's the pull.
Yeah, I agree.
Tal, let's stick with you. Son, I mean, bless him. I think Son was wondering, will I get this goal? Will I actually get this goal? And bless him, it was long afternoon from him. He had to wait. And, moments after Kane put him through 1-on-1, Krul then saved it. And it was actually a really good save from Tim Krul. Really good save. And we know he's been on Nemesis on more than one occasion. But there was no way he was missing that second opportunity. And South Korean buried it. And to be fair to Lucas, put it on a plate for him. Lovely finish from Son. And you can see the delight in his face, Tal, couldn't you? He loved it.
Honestly, I think everyone was so happy in that moment. Like, it was pure delight. I think all of us, we got that second goal and it was all about, I tweeted myself being like, let's get Sonny in on the app because he's such a selfless, like, lovely human that he's like, the team is first, whatever. But when you're one goal away from winning a golden boot that you haven't won yourself, there is no way in hell that is not at the front of your mind. Like, I know he's an incredible team player, but surely within him, he's like, it's one goal. I've got to be able to get it. And we were all rooting for him. And when that first chance that you just said with H came along, I was like, that was it. Like, that was right there. How on earth did that not go in? But when Sonny scored that goal, it was literally like fireworks in my brain and everyone else's, I'm sure. But it was just the best feeling. I think he was delighted. The players were delighted. Like, it was just pure happiness. Like, he deserves it so much. He's the cutest thing ever. And I'm just so happy he won the bloody boot.
I feel like you can say that part. He's cute. He is proper cute.
He's the cutest thing ever. I love him. And I know it's so irrelevant, but when it was the last home game at the stadium the other week and everyone had their families, like, Sonny was on his own. And I was literally...
Lovely point. What a great point this is. Yeah.
Oh my God. But you know what? He was with every single one of those players' families, holding their children.
Like
their
so
uncle.
humble. Yeah, the guy's
and
humble,
you can tell though that those kids aren't just meeting him for the first time. Like, he's such a part of everyone's lives, and it makes me so happy. Like, we've all seen the documentary and his background and everything, and I think we all love Sonny so much, and for him to be so dedicated to our club, be under Harry a lot of the time as well in terms of recognition and stuff, but to come away with that boot, everyone is just so happy. Like, I can't. I love him.
Yeah. No, Tal, do you know what? It's a lovely point to make. I don't think we actually referenced that in the last show because I think these clips came out after that post-match actually we did against Burnley. So on it, bless you. Really appreciate you mentioning that. And lovely again from Son. The humbleness of the guy was just incredible. We saw a couple of changes actually, obviously after Son got that goal where Bentancur went down with a slight knock. It was replaced by Harry Winks, Stephen Bergwijn replacing Emerson Royale. Maybe get the feeling that's maybe a farewell for those guys. I think Bergwijn, we know, was to play regular first-team football. Likewise for Harry Winks as well. So it's pretty nice those guys got that run out. We'll talk about them in a bit more detail in a couple of minutes. I know there's been lots of comments. Sessegnon, there's lots of love coming his way. As for Ben Davies, of course, don't you worry. You're going to hear everything. I'm not going again, don't worry.
Can I make one point before I forget this point?
Go on, Tal.
Hugo Lloris needs a shout out because he's got 16 clean sheets this season or something outrageous now. I just want to say, because I know
with illness as well. With illness, spot on.
With illness, he's got his 16th clean sheet today, and I think there was only a few more. And they were both obviously Liverpool and City, who are miles above us. So for him, he basically won because you can't compete against those two. He's been unreal in certain ways, but 16 clean sheets with Matt Doherty, Emerson, Dyer Davies, ability or not, unreal. Just
I totally agree. Yeah, absolutely.
He's third. You are spot on. He's third and 16. Edison and Allison both got 20.
So exactly,
clubs. And again, stats don't lie, in my opinion. Factual information, like you point to everything. You can go down everything: the amount of goals scored, the amount of goals conceded, the amount of clean sheets we had, the amount of attempts we've had on goal. We are above levels of fourth. In some instances, in that one, for example, we're third. He's Mendy's only got 14 clean sheets. Remarkable. He's changed around.
Yeah.
5 in the last 11 games conceded. That in itself, Tal, as you say.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Captain's material. Honestly, he's been absolutely superb. Absolutely agree. Been superb, Hugo Lloris. Again, we'll turn it back to Son and come around to you, Rich, because it's funny, isn't it funny with Son? I always feel like he's such a, once the first goal is instinct, the second goal again is pure confidence, right? Similar to, I would say, Leicester in a way, the finish there. This one a different type, but 25 yards. I mean, Son makes these goals effortless. I mean, he could have his own. I know Jason said this as well at times. Son could have his own goal of the season compilation. He's got his own, doesn't he? Like,
and it just keeps coming.
Yeah, imagine over there
Left
one,
foot,
and Son
right
has his
foot.
own. It's just remarkable. 25 yards.
Yeah.
He becomes the first Asian to win the Golden Boot, sharing it with Mohamed Salah. Surely right, Rich, isn't it? Surely right.
Sure.
He had to do it, didn't he?
For sure, and obviously no penalties in there as well, which is something that does get missed. And Sonny's obviously worked really hard, and I remember last season when him and Hugo had a bit of a spate around his work rate in one of the halves, and I think all the players hold each other accountable. And Sonny is somebody that obviously he's a great character. He's got loads of energy. People like him, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have to work as hard, and it isn't held to account like every other player. He works as hard, tracking back, gets in the right positions, and also he started to make those right decisions when he's on the ball. This is something that Lucas sometimes holds onto the ball too much and doesn't make the right decisions, where Sonny, as part of his game, as he's got older, he's really been making the right decisions, and which has meant that he's had more opportunities. And then when those opportunities have come, he's taken them. Like I say, left foot, right foot, 25 yards, or even tap-ins. And like Harry on the penalty spot, you're really confident he's going to score. Sonny's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Apart from that one miss that he had, which I would say was a miss today, when he was literally, it came across, and I think Coren already had gone, actually, I've seen where his foot is.
I know
it's going straight there. And I think normally Sonny would have smacked that, and that would have been 6-0. But who cares, eh? Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, Sonny's words, Lee, coming over to you. He said on the Golden Boot, I can't believe it. I got really emotional. I dreamed it as a child. Literally, it's in my hands. I can't believe it. I mean, this guy, I know Talia's face is all there. The guy is so humble, so humble for a guy that is so loved around the world. In Korea, he's a star, right? In South Korea, he's actually like, the equivalent probably of David Beckham in terms of England, just how much this guy is just adored in that country.
He's a star here now, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
7th season now. You look at his progression over the years. I think his first year he struggled by his own accounts. I think he wanted to go back to Germany. There was reports about in Germany, and then ultimately his steady progression. Last year was his best return. I think 17 goals, 10 assists. This year has been absolutely phenomenal. 23 goals, 7 assists. No penalties in there. I just want to do a comparison to Mo Salah because, and I just want everybody to remember this. And I know this is last one on Spurs, but you look at the other mainstream media outlets when Mo Salah was scoring all them goals at the beginning of the season. And to be fair to Mo, he's got 13 assists as well, so he got the most assists I think this year as well, like Kane did last year. Oh, actually, quick side point: Kane got 23 goals last year. Son got 23 goals this year. Salah's got 23 goals. All of them got the Golden Boot, 23 goals. Well, that's quite a little.
That's interesting. Yeah.
When you look at Salah in the first half of the season, literally they were going Ballon d'Or. This guy's better than anyone on the planet. This guy, everybody was singing Salah's praise, probably including Spurs fans as well, because But Son has matched him for goals in the Premier League with no penalties, as you said earlier, and he just gets a bit of. Look, don't get me wrong. I don't want, because Mbappe now is staying at PSG just for money, by the way, lack of ambition, obviously, but just a bit of money. He's staying at PSG. I don't want Real Madrid to come knocking for Son. Like, oh yeah, like we don't want Son to be recognised in that way, personally. Do you know what I mean? Son can stay where he is, thank you. But just some recognition that Son is just unbelievable, because for me he is. And again, without sounding weird, I never wavered on Sonny either. Like, everybody can have a bad game. We play at the highest margins, right? It's fine margins at the sport, not we. Like, I'm talking about the lads in Tottenham or whatever, and obviously Rich, right? Elite level is real fine margins. You're allowed to have a bad day. You're allowed to have a day off, or you know what I mean? Of course you are. And sometimes Son does, but no one can have a go at him this year. 23 Premier League goals. That's a phenomenal achievement. And all that stuff that was going on with Kane in the summer, and he was a bloke that got his pen out and signed a contract. He said, no, I'm committing.
He is Tottenham. He is
100%, mate.
Yeah, I totally agree. What we will do is, for our listeners on audio, we will go for another quick break. We'll let everybody compose themselves. For our watching audience on YouTube, there's still nearly over 2,000 of you watching us live on all of our platforms. So again, thank you so much for all of your incredible support.
How many likes we got?
I can't see the amount of likes. So tell us in the comments how many likes we've got. Get us to
the 2,000. Let's do it now before we go to a break. Come on, everybody. It's really easy. All you do on your YouTube, on your button, press the like. That's it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Go. Simple.
Thank you, Rob. 798. Right, if we've not got up to 1,000 now, come on. Hit that button. Hit the button and share.
If you like it, Song gets a Ballon d'Or next year.
Right, come on, everybody like it. Press it, guys. Press it for more Ben Davies songs. Not enough Ben Davies. Tom, they're coming. Don't worry, Tom, they're coming. Right, I tell you, I gotta laugh. I must remind us that we are delighted to be sponsored by the Beavertown Corner Pin. That is the Beavertown bang opposite the South Stand. They've been doing some great home and away features this season. They'll be doing some content throughout the summer. Lee's even got a Beavertown glass. Look at that. The man, he was on the laser crush. He went back onto the neck oils. That's what Spurs have forced him to do. And we've got the Champions League spot all subbed up.
Don't worry about that.
Definitely not the laser crush. I'll tell you, Richard White is not on the laser crush tonight. I can tell you he's not on the laser crush tonight. We've been down here this season. There's been some great days down there. I tell you, but good company, good food. Go and check them out throughout the summer. If you're visiting down at Tottenham, make sure you go and check them out. They've been fantastic this season. And you get the gimme songs. Lee will tell you the rest later. I'm sure you'll get it during the show as well at some point. Go and check them out. The entire Beavertown range available to you. And we're going to roll on. So I know what people have been waiting for, a lot of the player performances. Because to be fair today, I know Sonny's, the Kanes, the Kulusevskis, the Llorises, they take up a lot of the show. But listen, we can't forget some of the other players that have played a pivotal role in Spurs achieving Champions League football. And I have to say that this is...
Oh my God.
My voice is totally gone here.
Sound like you got indigestion.
For people with headphones, you're in trouble.
Every time he sings it, it's getting worse. It sounds going to break into that flute with the Europa League.
Yeah, maybe I'll whistle it next time.
Oh, thank you, 980 went 20 away. Keep liking, keep doing what you're doing. Right. Yeah, Georgie Lee is getting to my picture I like it as well. But listen, he can do what he wants. Guys, from defence to attack, let's talk about some of the player performances this season and this game as well. Davinson Sanchez. Now, I think many were worried, scared about him coming into the team to deputise Christian Romero. But I've got to say to you that again today, he absolutely, I would say, dominated that Norwich City team. At forwards to midfield, I think nothing got past Sanchez. And I tell you what, this was the same Sanchez that we saw in these previous 3 games throughout the previous 4 or 5 years. We wouldn't have anything to worry about. But again, I have to say, Sanchez has been formidable the last few games. Will he keep it up? I don't know. But a word for him. I mean, Tal, a word for Davinson Sanchez and how good he's been.
I think that what summarised it well for me was when we were going to, it was the Arsenal game when he first came in, right? It was, I think.
Arsenal, yes. Yeah, it was.
I was walking down the ramp at Northumberland Park and the news came out that obviously Romero wasn't starting and everyone was on their phone, looked at the lineup, saw Sanchez's name and the mood, I honestly promise you, went from 100 to 0. Everyone thought that he was like the pivotal person. No Romero means we cannot win. Since he's come in, look, he's done amazing. I think this goes for a lot of the players, whether they'd be first choice on that team sheet next season. I don't think a lot of them are, but, he's come in and I can't really think of a moment where I thought, oh my God, that was so shaky. That was awful. Or you didn't kind of trust that. I think he's been superb since he's come in. And also they've not been easy games. All right. Today was slightly easier, but to come in for the first time in however many months against Arsenal in potentially the biggest North London derby we've had in a long time, to put in that performance was superb. And he's carried it through. Confidence is a proper thing, right? And I think, look, he's got the applause. He hasn't put a foot wrong, and he has stepped up. So fair play to Sanchez. I'd be surprised if he was starting, but you cannot say that he has not put in a shift. So fair play to the guy. Like I rate that.
On Sanchez, just quickly on Sanchez. Do you remember? I think it might have been against Pacos de Ferrer, because I think it was that this season. I don't even
know. That wasn't an aftershave knockoff there. That was who he did play. If you don't guys forget. We did play him. It wasn't a knockoff in the
He came on, didn't he? He was playing in the back three on the left hand side, and he got done. And I remember thinking, I think that was the only I mean, you have that Sanchez, and then now think about the one you've just been talking about. They're like two different players, completely different. He looks assured, he looks strong, he looks confident, he looks like putting, the assist, is it pre-assist and all that sort of stuff in the North London derby. I mean, this is a guy that's almost been sitting on the sidelines watching Romero and going, oh yeah, I can do that. Oh, is that what you want me to do? Oh yeah, I can do that. Brilliant. He's been superb.
I think it's because his role's changed as well, though, hasn't it? You know, when he's got the ball, he's looking forwards.
Yes.
He's looking. I think he's a little bit shaky when he's actually turning again and passing back to Hugo, or those cross defender passes. When he's looking in front of him and given that kind of opportunity to play those forward balls, he feels a lot more confident as a centre back. And I think, again, Conte's identified his strength is to do that, and then really gone, actually, I believe you can do that in my team, and empowered him to do that. So that's where I think the difference has been.
Yeah, I agree. Just a comment on the screen there. Watch out. We're not saying there's more. Well, there is more to come because we don't take breaks on this show. So crazy train. We'll keep on rolling. The wheels are still going. The wheels are still going. And I totally agree there, Rich, with you. I mean, I must say for the comments here. I must say just the comments here. I think we all acknowledge that, when Romero comes back, I think we all agree to be first choice. But I don't think it's any harm to, again, recognise when someone's come in and played well, because we've got to say Sanchez has been part of the reason that Spurs have achieved Champions League football. Whether you like him, 3 clean sheets in a row, whether you like him or not, he's done his job. Players have had to come in, and you know how hard that is. I must just say, very quickly, Leo, how hard is that for a player to accept they're not part of the first team, to keep on training at a maximum? I mean, Rich, I don't know, in your training regime, these guys have got to train and know they're not going to be selected, to keep on. Sure. With that belief, that determination that they're going to be called upon. Mentally, that must be so tough. It's a credit to surely, right?
If you're not part of that first 11, in the back of your head, you're always playing to be on the bench, right?
Yeah.
But I think Conte has installed that confidence in him. You're going to get your opportunity. This is a team game. This is a 38-game season in the league, and you're going to get your opportunity. And for Davinson, it's come at the key part of the season. And that's where you should win the plaudits, when the going gets tough and somebody's had to step up to the plate. He's actually shown his real worth. And credit to him for sure. Yeah,
Lee, coming in. I know you were coming as well, Lee. Go for it.
Well, only because I think it's a fascinating point what Tal was saying right at the beginning as well, and what Rich just said there is that now you look at this and you kind of go, Sanchez was falling on his face against Man City last year, right? And he's getting, wasn't he?
Bambi on ice. It was Bambi on ice. It was Bambi.
Now he's not, and you look at it and go, well, an asset for our football club. He plays. He's an international. He plays on that right hand side. He's going to be back up to Romero. We all know that. If we get money for him in the summer, you might still want to sell him. But actually, if we can keep hold of a player in that status, you probably want to keep him. Like, you probably want to keep, because now, like you just said, Tal, he can come in, keep 3 clean sheets in a precious situation right at the business end of the season. That's valuable for Europa. Sorry, that was a bit of a mistake, wasn't it? Not Europa League. It's Champions League. Yeah. No, but Carabao Cup and domestic cup competitions and all that sort of stuff.
5 subs as well. 5 subs next
year. I don't think Big Dav should be going anywhere, to be fair. I think he's played himself back into the squad. I think unless big money coming in for him, I don't think you should be looking for a backup right-sided centre back if you've already got one in Dav, and I think we got one. So
that's his audition tape right there, though, right? Like, that's his audition. Conte said, "Look, I need someone I can back."
bang on the
this
money.
is what you've got. And he smashed it. And that's what you want. You know, like I said, that 11 has to be stronger, 1 billion%. But you also need these people that are happy being second fiddle or being the subs or being part of the rotation. And that's how successful teams work. And if he's happy for that, he can step into that first as and when needed, but also be that second plate. And that's great.
Look at City and Liverpool. I know we're not at their levels yet, right? But if you look at City, they got Nathan Ake. They got, got John Stones, they got, Diaz, all these big players, right? And they sit there and blah, 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 and they're these big champions. We're back at the top
they're
table.
Not sulking on the bench.
They're not sulking. Exactly. They're not sulking on the bench. They're happy days. They might get paid 3 times more than a Tottenham player, maybe. I don't know. But look, they're not sulking. And actually, look at Liverpool as well. How many times has Matip in and out this season? I'd like to see the stats. How many times that Konate that they bought as almost a backup? He played loads of games this season for them. I mean, Joe Gomez, I know he's had his injury problems, but when Liverpool first burst onto the scene, into the kind of the Champions League when they've done us, whatever, Joe Gomez was playing every week. Do you know what I mean? So they've got a nucleus there. Like James Milner, like he's a brilliant squad player for them. Do you know what I mean? Isn't it?
Yeah. We need players that can step in as and when needed, and Sanchez has done that, and I think that that's what the conversation's about, and we credit him for coming in, doing the job, and being part of our success, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think we still, I think as we all know, we still want to get that left-sided centre-back, whether that's Bastoni, whether that's, of course, who's a guy, Lee, Pau Torres, was linked as well. Pau Torres.
That seems like a deal that's simple on the basis with the Celso being over there and whatever, but who knows? I mean, Bastoni seems like he's going to be a lot of money, but I agree with that. Left-sided centre-back, you not that Davies done anything wrong, but you either want a backup to Ben Davies, or you want somebody who's going to play like a Romero on that side, and then Ben Davies becomes your Milner. Do you know what I I mean? Doesn't he? Ben Davies
who can fill in?
He becomes he can be deputised as a left back if you need be. If you want to change shape, left wing back as a deputy, plays as a left centre back. He becomes your utility player like James Milner.
You're starting to build that squad, right?
And building that squad out. So
I must just say, guys, time wise, I know we're only on Davinson Sanchez and we're an hour and 30 minutes in here, so I am going to ramp it up. I am going to have to ramp it up, a bit like Adel Matura's speed, who you may see in a Spurs shirt, who knows? Apparently,
and Nord's very quick as well. Nord, let's mention Nord. Very quick. Very quick indeed. Eric Dyer. It's time to mention Eric Dyer. Now, Lee McQueen told me, and again, I have to. I'm doing you again here, Rick.
McQueen done me. He's battered me this season. He's battered me. He told me Dyer would come back strong. I never believed it. I wasn't a Dyer believer. And sometimes you've got to put your hands up and say, I was wrong. I was wrong. Eric Dyer has been absolutely phenomenal this season. There was one mistake today midway through the first half, but other than that, I've got to say, he played ever so well again in the back line. He was superb for Spurs and been superb really all season since Conte's come in. I honestly think having somebody that's instilled that trust and belief into him, and I've got to say credit to Eric Dyer, because mentally to be strong enough, Rich, he always believed, Eric Dyer, that his best position was centre-back.
For sure.
Listen, Poch, well loved by the fan base. We all love Poch. Poch didn't believe that was his position. Let's be real about it. But Eric Dyer believed that was his position. Obviously, every manager that's come in here, they've all liked him. Jose liked him. Poch liked him. Nuno liked him. Conte likes him. He's a leader. He speaks multiple languages. He seems to be a real character and leader in that dressing room. And he deserves a mention, Rich, for just how consistent he's been this season. And he does deserve a World Cup call-up, doesn't he, as well? Have to say.
Yeah, seamless. And definitely England call-up needs to happen. I think you look at his performances this season as a leader, somebody that really communicates well across that back three, back five sometimes. And again, kind of really controls the kind of movement of the ball moving forwards. Also, his distribution has been great this year.
Pings some great balls on. He does ping.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's got that diagonal as well. Totally agree.
Yeah, Eric's been brilliant this year, and he's been one of the players of the season for sure that doesn't get that recognition that some of the goal scorers actually do get.
Yeah, I mean, Finley, you said it, Ricky, you said it though, he does have a mistake in him. Do you know what, Finley, I've got to say, I've been really impressed by the way Dyer has eradicated the majority of mistakes from his game this season. Yeah. I have to say, since Conte's come in, I have seen a genuine improvement in his game that I didn't actually believe was possible. So full credit to him. I mean, Tal, I think you've been on the show also where at times Dyer has let us down. I mean, how impressed have you been by his revival in a Spurs shirt under Antonio Conte?
Totally. I love Dyer. I love him as a person as well as a footballer. I think he, again, is very underrated for how humble he is in general life. I think he is a great, great guy, genuinely. And I think he really deserved a season like he has had this season. I think, the fans are very harsh critics, me included, as is everyone else here and watching. We all are. But I think he has really been a rock for us. He has been that consistent person in the back. He's vocal. He holds people accountable. He has worked. And I think, like we said, we wouldn't have got that 20 clean sheets without him being a massive part of that. I really think he is great. Like, look, today's an anomaly and it's kind of typical that there was the mistake there. But generally, I look at him and I trust him so much more than we did. And like I said, thinking about future starting 11, he's always going to be a name within question about that. But I think by this season, he's not really done anything wrong. And, he dealt with the whole England thing so incredibly well. He's such an incredible professional. And I think, look, fair play to him. He deserves it. I think he's great. And I really think the recognition is well deserved for him.
Sure. I think, since Toby and Jan had gone, I think he stepped into that kind of role as really kind of, being empowering, hasn't it?
Like I said, I was listening to the High Performance podcast, with Jake Humphrey, and Dyer did that. Dyer was on there.
It was brilliant on there. It was great. It
was great. Yeah. But he was speaking about how, Jan and Toby and Dembele Musa were those people that he learned from and looked up to. And he said, he's one of the people in the squad now that's been there for a while with some of the others, but he wants to be that person for some of the younger people. And I think that's actually something that's really shone through in that leadership for him, because he has been that staple kind of person. And I think he really does want to make other people better and teach them how to be better people, not just footballers, which I think really helps bring the group together, which we've all seen. So
that's why I love the show so much, because I just wrote down here the High Performance podcast, number 66, Jake Humphrey, because I was going to give it a shout out, Tal, and you just did it. Because if anybody hasn't listened to it, go and listen to it. Whatever you think of Eric Dyer, it will change your perception of him. He is brilliant.
Humble guy, I think. He wants
totally brilliant.
Simple things, he's such a family guy. Again, on the pitch, he was with all his gorgeous nieces and nephews walking around the pitch after the Burnley game. Like, he's just such a lovely guy, and I think he really deserves this. So.
His post after that, he wrote, "I'm the uncle."
So many people.
Just going on to that point, which you made with Dyer, with Toby and Jan, I thought what was quite interesting about that as well is that, remember in the Poch years, and I read out them earlier, our best ever points total in the Premier League year at 86. He used to play as a central holding midfielder. But what used to happen is, because Poch had a 4-2-3-1, he'd bomb up Walker and Rose, they would go so far at the pitch. Eric Dyer used to drop into a back three, and he'd be playing in the middle of Jan and Toby, right? And that's exactly the position full-time, obviously, as a defender, that he's playing now. So it's just, I don't know, I just feel like sometimes you have to go through some sort of a process. I think the turning point for me in his career as a defender was when he got man of the match against Chelsea under Jose Mourinho. And Jose Mourinho was just basically saying how good he was. And there was a lot of us fans going, really? But he loved him. And I think that, for me, was a turning point in Eric Dyer's career as a defender.
Yeah, no, I agree.
High Performance podcast, number 56 is brilliant.
Seriously, yeah. Okay. Watch it. Listen, whatever.
I've got to say, we have it over the 1,000 likes, which means it is song time. And it means we're coming on to someone that we know now very well. Now, you've heard this twice from me. We're going third time now. You to me are everything, the sweetest song I can sing. Ben Davis. Ben Davis. From Swansea to playing our back three. I said, oh, Ben Davis. Ben Davis. Now, I know Ben watches this show. And Ben, I know, as I said on the last show, listen, Benny, I know I've given you a lot of 6 out of 10s this season. Ben, we're upgrading that from a 6 to an 8. We're playing the cards right. He took a real block for the team early on. But overall today, again, you know what? the fans were even singing Davis's name in the first half, and
Ben Davis was coming out.
He deserved it, and he deserved it. He's Davis for me. I know, again, I've been critical. I'm not sure if he's been good enough, but he has done the job. That's why I say he's done the job, and he's done probably above and beyond what I thought he was capable of. But that just shows you how Conte has got every last bit of blood, sweat, energy out of this squad. Rich, another one that I'm eating humble pie, and I'm loving him to do it because Ben Davis, which I will say, true professional, right, Ben Davis?
And you need those. You need those in your team as well, don't you? You need those shining lights that are able to not only technically but also practically show you the way. And he in the past has been that stalwart 7 out of 10, but this year he's had to step up. That position has been his position. And moving forward, might need somebody else to come in and challenge him for that position. But he's been a player that I'm sure every Tottenham fan has said, actually, I don't know where that performance has come from. Normally, he's not as quick to the ball. I think it's also that footballing brain. It's really been switched on with some of the players in this squad. And definitely Ben, you can see, he's sniffed out that danger. In those big games, those Man City games, I've like gone, wow, like really, really good. One of those players again that doesn't get enough credit, and I think those wing backs as well. He's kind of moved over to like really be the reassurance when they're actually getting forward. So he's actually doing a lot of work in the games. Yeah,
do you know what? I've got to say that he's actually coming over to you, Tal. He's actually a really intelligent player. You know, and I know he's intelligent, you know, off the field as well. I think he might have a degree, Ben Davis, as well. I think he's a really clever guy. And you know what? You can see again a player that's been there.
Don't be that surprised, Rick, that people have degrees.
No, I didn't realise that.
I have 2 degrees, thank you.
I didn't really sound that surprised. Listen, no, I mean that all genuinely. You know, he is. He's really, really. You can see he's an intelligent guy. That wasn't being surprising. I honestly mean it. He's been superb. Now I'm trying to dig myself out the hole that I've just dug myself as Lee McQueen.
Brilliant. That's a quote. That's a Twitter quote for later, Ricky.
Lee just literally throwing me back in.
Surprise, a footballer has a degree.
Straight back under the train, mate.
McQueen just threw me back in there, fucking dug me under. I've got to come back out again. Jesus Christ. Oh, honestly, though, has it surprised you, the upturn in form with Conte coming in? I think many have said I think there's equivalent to like the Azpilicueta for Chelsea of just in terms of the reliability. Maybe not the last few months for Azpilicueta, but certainly when he was in his prime at Chelsea under Conte.
For me, I think, look, weirdly enough, seeing as I slate most players, I've always been a massive.
Oh, never you.
Fan. Never slate players, you know, but somehow Ben Davis has like missed my wrath. And I've always really thought he's been Mr. Reliable, Mr. Dependable, and thought that, you know, irrespective of ability, he is someone that gives 110%, I reckon, in every training session, because all of the managers that have come and gone as well, you know, put him in that place. And I think especially more recently, he's played so many games. He's been at one point today, I thought he was playing up front. He's been having shots. He scored not too long ago. He is someone that, you know, he knows what he's doing. And look, like everyone else, there are mistakes in that back line, but 20 clean sheets. These players, he again is a massive part of that. I think he is such a stable person in our back. And, you know, he might not have the quality of the best people in the world, but what he doesn't have, he definitely gives to the squad in other ways. And I really, truly rate that. And I think, you know, he has been really, really great for us. And I hope, you know, he continues with us, because I think he's also been there, years and years and years. And like, I would love someone to challenge or overtake him, and him, you know, like we said and discussed, be that player that is happy to come in here and there or rotate or whatever. But either way, incredible, amazing, evolving stuff with Ben.
You have to celebrate success, right? Have to celebrate.
Yeah, I totally agree, Rich. Totally do. Must have put Andy on the screen there, Norwich fan. Congratulations on the top 4. Your fans were top class. Best I've seen at Norwich all season. You know what, Andy? It takes a brave man to do that. He's seen his club. Andy's watched his club get relegated, and he's had 5 past his team today, and he still put a comment on there. So, Andy, credit you, my friend. Listen, Norwich, I think Norwich, to be fair to Norwich, always try and play the right way. You know, it's a shame we've lost them there. You know, a team there, a bit of a yo-yo side.
They'll be back.
They'll be back. Good side, good team, good fans. So, yeah, well done to them. And also, shout out to our wing backs this season. Ryan Sessegnon, I tell you, do you know what? I think Ryan, the last 6 weeks for me, has shown a new lease of life in terms of confidence, right? He's almost now, he's bursting over the halfway line. He's showing that belief, that desire, that integrity to get forward. He won most of his defensive duels today as well in a Spurs shirt. I would say today didn't offer as much in an attacking sense, but I have to say, the last 4, 5, 6 weeks as Ryan Sessegnon. Lee, let's start with you. Sessegnon, how impressed have you been by him, Lee? And do you think he is going to be Conte, providing he stays, his number one wing back next season? That left-sided role. Or first, yeah.
First, like, you need to learn from me, Rick, okay? Right, I told you about Dyer, right? I told you about Kane. I've told you about Conte. He is staying, right? So if he stays, he stays. Don't worry about that. I don't know with Cess. I'll be honest with you. I do see what you're saying. No, listen, hear me out, right? And you can have this on me next season, maybe. You can have this on me, right? I don't think he's taking people on yet, as I would expect him to take people on. I think there's an issue there in the back of his mind about his injury and it's hamstring. And that's what I think he's lost. I'm going to go with the Michael Owen story, right? He's lost. I think he's lost a bit of pace from being able to go off the line quick because he's worried about his hamstrings or something. I'm not quite sure. I think defending wise, he's done really well, but I don't know. He still needs to improve for me. I think he will. I think he's got it. I think he's shown it in the past that he's got it. He just needs to get it back. Again, Rich, maybe it's one for you. Like, you're an elite sports person. Does injuries like that, like, play in the back of your mind? Like, if you can't, you know what I mean? Like,
if you're going 110. If you're going 100% as well, you need to know that you've got all that training behind you that enables you to go into those zones, right? Yeah. And maybe hasn't got that. I'm definitely with you around Ryan. I think he shows some great promise. It's whether he's good enough to take that next step. Finishing, he's not shown any of that this season. He's definitely had a lot of opportunities, and again, I'm not a massive Doherty fan, but he created a lot of opportunities early in the season for Ryan. Wasn't really able to take those. Maybe that's something that Conte looks at, but Conte, I think, really fancies him as not only a Spurs player, but a future England player as well in that position. So we need to look at, obviously, why he thinks that. He sees something in him, but I think confidence is the key with Ryan.
Agree. Just because of time, I'm conscious of time. We're still on defenders. We have to do 2 hours in here, for God's sake. It's ridiculous. We have to
be all night. Be on Wednesday.
For the sake of our watching audience, we are going to try and listen. We've got Match of the Day coming up. We want to close way before then, so you see the 10 o'clock news and just see that Premier League table again, where Arsenal are and where Spurs are. I'm joking. Emerson. Don't know where that came from.
High octane like I have. We've got the high octane.
Emerson Royale again today, defending really well. Again, if we had more time this season, I think all I will say is Emerson Royale, drop the comp. Drop the comp. We've got to quickly move on. It's been really well this season. Benson Coren, as we've said, did come off with a slight knock at the end of today. Formidable. I think we did cover him in an early part of the show. Been brilliant. Højbjerg, we have to give a bit more of a mention on, because I have to say, since he's been playing next to Benson Coren, we've seen the Højbjerg that we've seen when he came to the club. He's been brilliant. He's been superb. I never was of the favour that he had to leave the club. I was of the favour that maybe he's not good enough for a first team spot, and I am going to question that for next season with the likes of Skip coming back, with Pape Matar and potentially a Ward-Prowse or a Christian Eriksen coming in. But Højbjerg, for me, you need those players in your squad. You need those leaders. You need those players that are going to, roll their sleeves up when it gets nasty. And it's been players like him that has helped get Tottenham over the line. It's not always about ability. It's about the desire, the hunger to want to get that ball and just keep it simple, keep it basic, make the interceptions. Tal, Højbjerg, how impressed have you been by him?
I think today he was really great. I think especially after missing that chance early on, he could have gone the other way or been a little bit, taken aback by that. But I think he definitely stepped over it. He put in a great ball, obviously, at the beginning as well, before that or after, I don't remember. But I think today he was great, and we have to credit to him for that. He was quite varied, but he stood up and he played his part. So you've got to track back. I think, though, I do just want to make, I guess, in general with all these players, I think we're such sentimentalists as fans. And I have definitely said this on here before. But, you know, when you think about it, you know, we're saying these players and we are praising them, you know, the Emersons and the Sesses and stuff. When you look at City and Liverpool, those wing backs, these people are, you know, they're nothing on them, not even remotely. And when you're a top 4 side, hopefully challenging for better things, you do have to kind of part ways with some of that and think that, you know, we do have to improve in those areas. You know, there's always a space and be like, oh, they're great, they deserve that chance, or they're not there yet, or whatever. No specifics, but blanketly, I just want to kind of say that if we're going for top 4, there's business that has to be done.
Yeah, I massively agree with you there. And I think like Lucas and people like that.
Exactly. There's people, they had his time. We'll get that memory forever.
If you want to be a top 4 side and push on, then you need to upskill the team as a whole, not only just the starting 11, but also the bench as well, especially with Forest.
Exactly. I completely agree.
Yeah,
but no negatives today.
No, I think you are right. I do agree with that. But just on Højbjerg, right, from out of all Tottenham players, right. So this is not out of the whole Man City and Liverpool, and whatever. It's Tottenham players. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg this season, most passes in a Spurs shirt against anyone else, most ball recoveries than anyone else, most tackles than anyone else. People judge Pierre-Emile Højbjerg on goals and assists. Like Crackers famously said, he's a dustman, and he's in the team to tackle. He's in the team to get passes sideways or hopefully forward. He's in the team to get the ball and recover it and go again. This is exactly what he does. And he is very.
He's
very
in the trenches. He digs you out, right?
He's in the and the thing is that exactly that, mate. And the thing is, them sorts of players. I always go back to Nicky Butt in this situation. I remember Nicky Butt back in, I think it was '98 World Cup, maybe.
I didn't see that coming last one on Spurs. Nicky Butt.
Yeah, no, Nicky Butt, and it was also Owen Hargreaves in an England shirt, and they won player of the tournament for England. And people never give them sorts of players the credit they deserve. Højbjerg is not the flashy, go forward, take on people. I mean, you saw his shooting ability maybe against the Liverpool with his header, again today with Norwich. That's not his game. That's like getting an accountant to go and sell a £1 million contract in business. Just not going to do it. Do you know what I mean? It's like the two things don't compute. But what you want him to do is pass, sit, recover, dirty,
galvanise his team.
Exactly what he does. So
I
actually think Pierre-Emile Højbjerg will start next season, even though, Tao, as you just said, we might get some upgrades in that centre midfield. I think if we're going to start looking at the likes of Christian Eriksen and so on and so forth, he's going to have to play a different system because there's only two berths in that central midfield. There's only two. You can get 3 in there if you go to a 3-5-2, and therefore do you drop a Kulusevski or Kane or a Son? It's a big puzzle for him to work out. But Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, hat off to you, mate. I absolutely love him. I tell you why I love him as well, for the most part. He epitomises exactly what we needed at the time he was signed. We were flaky.
Same as when we got Palacios. If you remember, we got Palacios, we got Wanyama. Totally agree.
Yeah, we were everything that he wasn't. And he came in and he went, I'm going to start working hard. I'm going to put blood on the line, the images and all that stuff. And he did it. And he's gone on a journey with us as well. I love the bloke. So fair play to him. I think he's had a great season.
Yeah. We mentioned obviously Heung-min Son. He's to get that golden boot, sharing it. Regardless with Salah, he's been superb. Sonny, love him. And again, players like him, we can get a couple more like him, and like the Bentancurs, like the Kulusevski. Spurs. Although they're in the Champions League, why can't they not do what they're going to do? I must just quickly just break from the show for 1 second. Been an update from Ali Gold, friend of the show. Again, keep your eyes on Last Word on Spurs. We've got some news coming in terms of future shows as well. Ali Gold has just given an update on Antonio Conte. And Lee told me about 20 minutes ago, stop worrying and, just believe what I tell you. Ali Gold has just said Tottenham are set to back Antonio Conte fully in the transfer market this summer and let him lead the way. Behind the scenes, Conte has been making his views very clear to the club about what needs to be done, delivering frank words to the chairman and managing director Fabio Paratici about the changes that need to be made to create a team that can compete with the elite. Good night. This is remarkable. I tell you, this can't get any better, can it?
Tottenham is on the radar.
We are massive. We are massive. We're massive tier 1. We're coming for you, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. Not that I'm going to go. Ben Davies is coming for you. So's Emerson Royale. What are you worried about?
I'm actually buzzing. No, I'm actually
honestly,
buzzing.
I'll tell you at this show. Lucas Moura, came off the bench. It might be a farewell for Lucas Moura. We have to say,
no, I'm not sure. Again, I'm with Rich. I think Bergie goes, but Lucas probably stays. Again,
do you know what? I've seen Lucas Moura in the last few weeks. He looking a little bit disgruntled, a little bit when he's having to come off. I think his
beautiful wife on the pitch towel. The shirt she had made, amazing. You don't do that stuff if you're not Tottenham. Like, he is proper. He will be all right. Champions League also as well, by the way, is his competition. And I'm stating the obvious here, but he comes alive in that competition. I don't think that he goes, personally. I don't. Unless decent money comes in from him, I think he'd be happy to stay as a squad player.
Well, I think it's one we'll definitely keep an eye on. Obviously, Bentancur we saw after he had to come off due to injury. Steven Bergwijn, some good movement when he came on. I mean, again, I think with Bergwijn, there's an acceptance that he probably wants regular first-team football. I don't think we can blame him. I think it's one of those where it's going to be a World Cup year. He wants to be playing, obviously, for the Dutch national team. So I wouldn't, we'll see in terms of how that plans out. But if he does go, wish him all the best. I mean, you look back now, how critical that double was up at Leicester City, the King Power. I mean, it's goals like that, it's moments like that have got Spurs into the top four. Guys, I just want to close the show. We've had, listen, I know I have to apologise. Listener questions, when it's been post-match reaction shows straight after 10:15, 10:30, we have found it hard to fit them in, guys. So please accept our apologies. And I'm going to be honest with you, next season, Spurs back in the Champions League. Wednesday nights, last word on Spurs, as Lee will tell you, it's going to be interesting how we're going to fit them in, but we'll try and find a way, of course, for those special Champions League nights. Right.
Rick, have we got room for one more song before we?
Do the song now, then we'll finish on the listener questions. What are we doing with? What are we going with?
Paratici, do you know what that's worth? Antonio Conte is the best on earth. The mad Italian, just what we need. Taking Tottenham to the Champions League.
What banger.
Come on.
Coming from at Spurs Song Sheets, get the following gun, get down there on his Twitter handle, on their Twitter handle, I should say, and find out all the new songs that we are going to be blasting out over the close season and in the new season. Damn sight better than I can sing them, of course, but I'm just putting them out there tonight at Spurs. Man. Song sheets. Let's go.
I love it. To Jay, my man there, to Ricky, Talia, Lee, all the guests and co-hosts this season. Thanks for the analysis, stats, conversation, entertainment, therapy. Many loves. Jay, thank you, my friend, for all your support we've had after every show. Bless him. Always letting us know. It's been lovely. Jay, thank you to, again, the audience. Right, we're going to close with some listener questions. First one goes to Rich from Peter Drury at PJury11, who says, please, I really need to know the answer to this question, Rich. What can we do to keep Mikel Arteta in the job?
Didn't he just sign?
He has to sign a 3-year contract, I must add.
Wow. Just keep letting them believe. That's it. Just sit back, let them believe. And wow. See, they've got a great side for top 5, not top 4 and above. And the thing is, as well, as a team, we're going in one direction. Right?
Oh, look at that. Yeah, I agree.
One direction.
Agree.
Come on, you Spurs.
I love it. And I know how he's fitted in about 4 boy bands there in the process of doing that. Superb. I mentioned, of course, to our friend Anthony Costa of Blue. We can't leave him out. Anthony, we're having you back on, mate. Champions League in the summer. I know Anthony will be very excited somewhere today, honestly. Jordan Hussein says, at last one of Spurs, do you think Gary Neville now still thinks Conte wouldn't be good enough for United, Lee? What are you doing about that? Obviously, Jordan watches the show a lot. What do you think Gary Neville's reckon?
I didn't hear the question. I'm so sorry. I can't.
Jordan says, do we think Gary Neville still thinks Antonio Conte wouldn't be good enough for Man United?
Well, I think it's an interesting question, isn't it, Jordan, to be fair? I mean, how Manchester United fans would want to be in our position today compared to where they are. I mean, getting beaten again in the last game of the season against Crystal Palace, just scraping into. I mean, they scraped into the Europa League at the expense of West Ham. By the way, where's poor old West Ham? They're back down the Conference League. Down in the Conference League. West Ham. Yeah.
Exactly. What does Gary Neville know anyway? What does Gary Neville know anyway? Salford did crap this season. What does he know? Are they 10th or something? Come on, just sort your own club out. That's it. Exactly. That's it.
Right, we're going to close on the final few questions.
I'm glad he's with us. I'm glad Antonio's with us rather than Man United. That's what I'm saying.
Agree. Right. John Berry says, over to you, Tal. This is what happens on these shows when you get top 4 in Champions League. This is the next one. Right. Honestly, this is great. John says, John Berry, can we challenge for the title and the Champions League if we buy well this summer?
Oh, hon, you've been asleep for a while.
He's been on a lot of
some drugs. My honest answer is no. I do not think we have the squad depth to manage both of those competitions well. But I think we are absolutely on our journey, and the goal is back Conte, get the players in, build, and in the next few years we close that gap. It's 100% the goal, but I don't think we're there. We focus on one. I said, I don't think Champions League will be us. I don't think we're ready with the elite. But in terms of the Premier League, look, we finished 4th when we were awful half the season. Let's go. Get those players in. We can compete. It's not like we can't compete. I just think both is too far-fetched at the moment, but we're on our way. We're on the way.
Fantastic. Next question. Let's go back around to Rich. Rich, this is from Ahmed Hunter, who says, if Conte is given a war chest, where do Spurs finish next season and how much silverware do they end with? What a question that is. Is that free?
Yeah, third. Yeah, third. Third. Let's knock another London club down the run. Yeah, I think we'll be closer for sure. We'll be closer to Liverpool and Man City. I think we're going to go for maybe 2 or 3 real great signings that will add value to the first team, and then some on the bench. I think it's a build maybe over 2 or 3 transfer windows to get the players that Conte really wants.
Okay, fair enough.
I think though, just put it out there. I obviously hope we do really well in the Champions League, but if we don't, I think we could have a good chance of winning the Europa League. Just gonna put that out there early on if we get knocked out.
We're talking about Europa League already in the Champions League.
No, I'm just saying. I think we could win.
We've got the last word on Arsenal here for a second. We're going to have to deviate back to the last word on Spurs, but I know what you mean, Tal. Yeah, I mean, listen, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
All right, up the quadruple. Fuck it, let's go. I'm ready. Let's go.
This is all in.
I'll tell you what, right, we go for 2 hours here for these guys' life as well as insanity. Let's go to Lee McQueen. Lee, to close it, Ben Perrin at Journo Pezza says, what represents success for Spurs next season? A nice question to close the show, Lee. Over to you.
Yeah, again, looking at it practically, I think a good summer. Again, what Rich and Tal said, get some players in, build out that squad. I mean, Talia made a brilliant point earlier. 5 substitutions next year. So that gives a squad, you've got to have a meatier squad for that. So I think a good summer. I think a good league position. I think it should start domestically for Spurs. Winning a Carabao Cup would be brilliant, but we have to now stay in that top 4. I agree with Rich. I think Chelsea are going to be in a massive transition. I'm not sure people in football realise how big that transition is going to be. There's no more Mr. Abramovich bankroll in that club. It is very, very different for them now moving forward. They've just lost 3 of their 4 back 4.
Yeah,
craziness on free transfers as well, by the way. So I think it's about making sure that we progress above. You've got Newcastle coming now. This is another reason why it was so massive us getting into the top 4 and getting them funds and getting back at that table, because get a sponsorship deal for the stadium, have a good run, and that party time and enjoy being Spurs again, and get in the top 4 again. And if you can win a trophy and top 4, I think that would be good progression. Looking at the points totals, if you can progress your points total from 71 this year to say 77, maybe 78. I don't know. Like, can you get another 6 points? Can you get another 10 points? Maybe. Because if we can do that,
easy games this season, and we had a manager that wasn't it for some of it.
Yeah. So if you got Conte on,
imagine him in the summer. Imagine if you had him in the summer, Conte. What could we have achieved? Yeah. I'm just saying.
I reckon we finished 3rd.
Yeah,
and he does all his great work on the training ground, right?
Spot on, Rich. Yeah, and we've seen that, right? We've seen that when you see the gap, week by week, how Spurs have managed the last 10 to 12 games. there's been no doubt that we've seen how strong are, and that'll be interesting for Conte next season. Having to manage Spurs in the Champions League in terms of that's why again it comes back to the need for a bigger squad, the need to improve, and this is what I mean. We've got a real exciting summer to come, guys. Your comments, your love, been pouring over the last 2 hours. I have to say, on behalf of all of us at Last Word on Spurs, from the guests to the contributors to the listeners to the viewers to everybody that's made Last Word on Spurs possible to where it's since 2017. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your incredible support. I know people have gone through really difficult times, as all of us have gone through the last 5-6 years. So thank you for being with us for Last Word on Spurs, being part of it. We've loved the journey, and it's lovely to be able to share these special moments with you. Spurs back in the Champions League, where we belong as a football club. I think we've got some very exciting nights to come. But I have to thank our wonderful panel for tonight. They've given us over 2 hours of their time. And you can see that still smiling. They want to go watch Match of the Day now, as we all are. They're so excited. We've got to let them do that. Firstly, Talia, Coren, Tal, you kept your. You said you were going to wear Doherty. You turned up in Doherty. You gave us some fabulous content again. I want to say, Tal, thank you so much for all your contributions throughout the season. You've been on some really tough shows when it hasn't been easy, and you've still delivered. So thank you so much, Tal, from the bottom of all of us here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me as always, and for all the lovely comments. It's been amazing. I'm really excited for the summer. Hope to be back discussing some great transfers, and let's bring on the next season and the incredible Champions League music while Arsenal are at home.
Oh, look at that.
If you can't see me and you're listening on audio, I look very smug. Just
she does. I tell you, your love is still pouring, guys. Thank you so much to the wonderful Richard Whitehead. Rich, thank you so much for all your time this season. I don't know if it's always been easy shows for you, Rich, but you make them easy. Thank you so much, bud, for your time.
Anything want
to keep on Rich? Anything coming up in the diary we should know about?
I'm doing a little bit of road running at the moment, so back on the roads like New York, London. Obviously, just finished filming The Hunted, so I did that, and that was pretty cool with you and Thomas. So yeah.
I want to catch up with you after that. I ran the marathon with you and Thomas. You couldn't make it up. When I thought, I'd do it offline with you, Rich. But when I saw you two together, I said to my family, "Oh my god! Like, look at these two guys!" I loved it, mate. It was brilliant.
So that was kick-ass.
Check out The Hunted if you ain't seen Rich on it. It's superb.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I always appreciate coming on, and it's a great honour, and also to be with like-minded people. So, congratulations, Rick, on a great show as always.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for your time. And listen to my co-host, I say man of my life, my wife. I'm actually like my missus has gone away for the week. You don't see the smile on my face. She's watching this now. Back tomorrow. No, honestly, I tell you what, Lee, mate, listen, we've been going, I think together the last 4 or 5 years. Mate, honestly, it's been an unbelievable journey. And I know we say that we do love doing the show. We genuinely do. Last Word on Spurs, you can tell me as much as me, mate. With the times we've been stopped going to the games and whatever, this support for this show is freaking insanity. It is absolutely mind-blowing. And honestly, people out there, lovely people.
Good friends come out of it as well. I want to give a shout out to Chris Cowlin, one of our own, to Jason McGovern, to Jamie from the Daily Hotspur, to John
Mr. Crackers, John Wenham, Frankie, of course, Frankie Major, Andy Costa.
People are working behind the scenes. There's only it's only us that do that stuff. We ain't got a massive production team or all this sort of stuff. Like, we ain't got any of that stuff. So look, we've had some amazing meetings this season as well with a club to do some extra content, some stuff that could be coming around on that side of things. The guests that we've had on, like Rich, like Talia, like everyone else that has come on, have been absolutely brilliant. So long may that continue. And what a day! Let's just think about this. Tomorrow, right, on a Monday, on a Tuesday, when you're at work or whatever it is, if you get a bit down. If you get a bit like, I'm having a bad day,
at the table,
Champions League music. Just put the Champions League music on, and instantly you will smile, and you can thank me for that one when it makes you feel better. So, well done, Tottenham Hotspur. I mean,
we did it.
Put us all through it, didn't you? But we did it. We did it.
Yeah, and I must say one thing: we have criticised the ball a lot on this show, and I must say, credit Daniel Levy, Fabio Paratici, because we made that change when we needed to. And, if we hadn't made that change that time, who knows where Spurs might have been. So, in the end, Spurs in the top 4 in the Champions League. From Talia, from Richard Whitehead, from Lee McQueen, from myself. Guys, keep safe, keep well. There's more content to come. Spurs might not be back till August, but we keep on going. Please keep safe, keep well. Go and watch Match of the Day. And as always, Come on, you Spurs.
Come on,
Come on, you